Jata Gasata Anda Bala Oram at Checkered Flag a la Race Shala Atlanta. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Checkered Flag e-streaming. It is, of course, the Star Wars round here for Checkered Flag e-streaming. For all our Mandalorian listeners, I do apologise for my accent. I am Mr. Darth Carl Wilkinson with you. Joining me up here in the booth tonight, I have returning from a long journey far, far away, Mr. Bradley One Kenobi. Brad, how you going, mate?
I'm going very good, thank you, Darth. Looking forward to tonight, and good to have some reception where I can actually jump onto the broadcast again with you guys.
It's great to have you back, Brad Allison. It's been a while since we've had you in the booth, but great to have you here. And working away furiously in the background, we have Mr. Yoda Joe in doing his work on the buttons. How you going, Joe?
Looking for someone. Found you, I say you have.
Good evening, Carl, and welcome for race fans. I'm going well. Looking forward to tonight. Some interesting paints out there.
Absolutely, some great paints, and hopefully we're going to catch some of those in a few minutes as they come out for qualifying here tonight for the Simrigs.com Star Wars 350 here. It is at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and, well, tricky track, a bit of a plate race as well. Very, very quick. We will be seeing some very fast speeds, and we should be seeing some pack racing tonight, Brad.
100%, Carl. The new Atlanta, which is obviously it's been done as we know, it is pack racing. It's just like running a super speedway, nose to tail, real close track pack racing.
That's it. One of our favourites up here in the booth. Me and Mark are preferred plate races, and we love that kind of thing. Not everybody's cup of tea, though. We'll just quickly run through the Drivers' Championship standings while we've got a second. And we have Mr. Toby Stent in the lead. He is sitting with 425 points. 60 ahead of Daniel Hederscheid in second. Third place, we've got Ruben Phelps, 82 points off the leader. Stevie Dubs sits in fourth position, 112 down. Matty Ray in fifth, 133 off the lead. With Jai Schultz Brad Fenley in sixth with 151 off the lead. 160 points down in seventh is Jai Schultz. Ross Chatham having a great run for his rookie season, 170 off the lead in eighth. Adam Ariel, one of my favourite paint jobs tonight, 171 points off the lead, and Jamie Nankervis rounding out the top 10, 179 points down. So still some work to do in the championship for some of those guys, but they've really got to work hard to knock Toby Stent off the standings, as we're just seeing Adam Ariel come out for his lap of qualifying here in that very, very cool paint job.
Yeah, as you said, Toby's going to be hard to beat the way he's going. He's had 9 starts, he's had 8 top 5s and 8 top 10s, so he's really consistent. 3 wins, of course.
Yeah, he's been on fire this season, and the only Force-sponsored car out there at the moment of Adam Ariel, hoping to get a good qualifying run in, and we'll see where this jumps him in the timing sheets, and that jumps him up into 8th position at the moment. Down to 12th as some people have crossed the line. Atlanta, what are we expecting tonight? Well, as you said, it's going to be close racing. Track temperature, 32 degrees. Air temperature, 26 degrees. That means that the track is going to be a little bit warm. 89 Fahrenheit, 79 Fahrenheit in the old money. Wind, fairly strong winds blowing in a northeast direction as well. That can really unsettle the cars.
Yeah, Ken Carl, the drivers that'll do well out there tonight will be the ones that realise around about 25 laps on those set of tyres. If you just get off the throttle a little bit coming into 3, and the same thing then coming back into 1, the car won't overheat those rear tyres. It really maintains the grip for a lot longer.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial to get the runs in, well, the best runs you can, and fuel mileage is going to be a key feature of this race. Trying to get as much out of your tank as possible. You want to try and get that tank to run as long as you can to get those laps under your belt. Of course, it's going to be 230 laps here, so it's a fairly long race. 350 miles, of course, so it is going to be a long run, and those long runs are going to be crucial.
Yeah, it is. It truly is the crucial bit from lap 25 to lap 50. It'll be really crucial to see who's looked after those. I said the right rears tend to get really hot. That's where you're coming down. It's not the right front that wears, but the right rears that overheat.
Absolutely. And when those rear tyres get hot, they become very tricky to handle, of course, and they are never fun when it all goes wobbly. And that can always lead to problems as well on the restarts, too. Of course, once you've got hot rear tyres, the thing will get very, very slippery very, very quickly.
Yeah, the only thing in the guy's favour is that the tyres will cool down a little bit while they're under a caution or something if they don't come in and change them, so that will help just for a few laps, but it'll get right back up to temperature after a 3 or 4 and they'll be right back where they were.
So we are just rounding out qualifying. 40 seconds left as Jamie Nankervis is currently up on top. We're looking at Ross Chatham at the moment, the leader of the Rookie Championship, having a strong showing here tonight. Jake Saddington is probably his closest rival in that battle. Those two, Ross Chatham on 254, Jake Saddington on 246. So a close battle between both of those drivers, and well, looking forward to seeing how that one pans out.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know Ross personally, but to see him in the top 10 in the actual Drivers' Championship, and of course that way leading the rookies, is great to see. Good on him.
And we just saw a momentary glimpse there of a car just hiding in pit lane. It was, sorry, my language has absolutely failed me there for a second. It was Brett Campbell who's starting his 50th race tonight, making 50 race starts. So great job for him. We'll have a peek at that one. And first of all, though, let's run through the starting grid. And on pole is Jamie Nankervis. Nathan Button doing a great job starting on his outside. On row number 2, it's Andrew Dyson and Jake Saddington. Third row of the grid is JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden with Toby Stead. On the 4th row, we've got Ross Chatham and Darren McKenzie. On row number 5 is Derek Jacobs and Norman Clark. 6th row sees Ryan Jones next to Noddy Tompkins. 7th row, we've got Stevie Dubb next to Mark Smith. Row number 8 sees Dylan O'Shea next to Kai Turner. The 50th man himself starts out of P17 on the 9th row. It's Brett Campbell next to Adam Ariel. Row number 10 has Christopher Tomlin next to Jai Schultz. Brenton Henderson and Luke Crummer next up on row 11. 12th row of the grid, we've got Peter Gretton and Tristan Koch. Brad Fenley and Maddie Ray make up the unlucky 13th row. 14th row, we've got Ruben Phelps and Lachlan Urquhart running that beautiful Tourette's awareness paint tonight. And Aidan Schultz will be rounding us out this evening.
Yeah, a good-sized field considering how close these cars are going to be running. It's we don't want to see too many cautions tonight if we can avoid it. I think we had about 8 or something last year, wasn't it, Carl? Something. So we certainly don't want any more than that this season if we can have it.
Yeah, if we can avoid some of those cautions, it would be good. Of course, we love to see nice, clean races here, and if we can get a good, clean run tonight, that will be very appreciated. Of course, the cars only have 5 sets of tyres for the race. The set they start on, of course, and the 4 that they can change on during the race. So they've got to be careful with that. Don't spurn through those tyres too quickly. They are very important to keep a relatively clean set for the end.
Yeah, you want to try and finish on a good set of tyres, that's for sure, Carl. There is 2 green-white checkers, so should we come on that, you do want some grip there for sure.
Absolutely. As we start rolling around for the pacing grid, drivers are going to be getting all of those butterflies in their stomachs. And, well, we've got one coronation going on tonight. Who is going to be crowned King of Atlanta, though? That's the coronation that counts here tonight on Checkered Flag e-streaming.
I'm nervous, Carl. I'm not even out there, so it's great to see. It's good to see the cars on the track.
Absolutely. And it's great to have you back in the booth as well, Brad. You've been missed while you've been gallivanting around Australia, so it's a pleasure to have you back tonight. And hopefully the drivers will deliver us a great race to view. I'm sure they will try their best.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be a great race. Yeah, as I said, small field, which I think is a really good size field for this track, knowing what this track's like. And the guys, if they just give each other a little bit of room, will be good.
Absolutely. As we're coming around to the start of the race, it is, of course, the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championships here on Checkered Flag. If you've not hit that subscribe button, please do it now so you don't miss any of the action in weeks to come. But tonight's race is about to start. Cars are coming for the line, and we are about to get racing here at Atlanta. What we will do, though, is we will shut up so you can enjoy these V8s roar away for 230 laps of Atlanta. And as they come across the checkered line for the first time tonight, the low line is looking strong. A few people dropping down there, jumping in front of a couple of people, getting a little bit close for comfort. The high line's running a bit too high as, oh, who was that up in the wall? Was it, wasn't Nathan Button? It's another pink car there. It must have been Ross Cheetham there, just collecting the wall in the background. And that's not how you want to start your race as it gets contact again towards the back of the field. Ross Cheetham just getting squeezed there. He just manages to get the car through, and we avoid disaster on the opening lap.
Well, they certainly gave him a hard time, weren't they? Weren't going to give him an inch.
No, that is it. We might hopefully catch a bit of a replay of that, because that was some scary stuff on the opening stages. As we are running here, the main group have almost become single file. A few drivers just steering up a little bit. Up the front is Jamie Nankervis with Daiso behind, giving him a great push at the moment. You don't want to be doing that for too long because the car will overheat, of course. So you've got to be a little bit cautious of that. We've got 2 packs though. The main group down to around about 20th position. And then we've got the secondary pack, mainly being made up of SRM cars at the moment. So just the 2 packs at the standing. But I'm sure as this race goes on, that will start to, increase.
Yeah, Jamie started, got pole and started at the moment. As you said, with Daiso behind, he'd be happy. Just he's led some laps. I know his intention was to drop back a little bit at the race, but he may want to decide now he's out front, especially with Daiso behind him, that he's going to just leave the car there.
Well, you've got to say, leading the position is one of the better positions to be in, because there's less chance of getting wrecked. So here's the replay of that start, and we'll see if we can catch that. Ross Cheetham, of course, had those big moments. So I'm not sure what we're looking at here. You have to forgive me because there's lots of different paints going on as well. As you might want to jump on the 24 mark. So it's a bit further up the field, but you'll see in a few moments on this restart, the pink car getting squeezed up high.
At least the 30 car's getting some airtime. It's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we'll try and get that one in a few moments. We'll see if we can bring that up. But we've got action on the track at the moment. Still battling away down towards the back of the pack at the moment. A couple of cars trying the high line, but not really anybody joining them. And you'll have to give me tonight because there's so many different paint jobs, so many special paint jobs out there. It's not as easy just to quickly glance. And I think that's Norman Clark up on the high at the moment with Noddy Tompkins by the looks of that. So those 2 cars just sitting slightly on the high line at the moment, but they're going to be dropping towards the back of that pack.
Yeah, that's obviously Norman's intention, is dead set to go to the back. You can see there he's trying to work his way to the back, letting his teammates, not of his, but the teammates together, get around him and so forth. He's right where he wants to be at the back and try and keep that car clean for the rest of the night.
And you always had to put $1 in the truck jar, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
Little line forming up now. Ryan Jones, Stevie Dubb, and who was that on the back of that little train? It's Dylan O'Shea there, forming up for a bit of a run. And look, Brett Campbell thinking about joining up there as well in the Golden Octopus car, of course. The very bright, very distinctive C-3PO-esque Golden Octopus car. I'd had a bit of time this week. I could have probably whipped that one up. I'm now thinking about it, but too late now. Always a tricky thing when you think about these things. It's always too late. Oh well, next year is always an opportunity. But they're trying to get that high line working at the moment. And well, Atlanta, you can get those lines working pretty well, but the high line can sometimes be a little bit slower, and it can also be a little bit more scary as that wall comes up very quickly, doesn't it, Brad?
It does. The scariest thing are the people in front of you, because there's nowhere for you to go when you see them start to get up too high or out of control, and you're on the outside, you can't duck down, you're stuck there, you just grip the wheel a little bit tighter and just hope and pray.
As we said before, the new Atlanta layout, it's much more like a super speedway than a conventional 2.5 kilometre tri-oval. So it's very, very, it's not quad oval, I should say, actually, It's very, very quick, but it's not as wide as places like Talladega, like Daytona, in Pocono, places like that. It doesn't have the same width, and that makes it a really challenging track to get right.
100%, Carl. Like 3 wide here is close. Like it feels even closer than it is. It's scary.
Okay, we're jumping to a replay now. And hopefully the voice in my ear can tell me. Yep, this should be Ross Shearmont on the start of the race. So watch here. So early on, he's going to try and work his way up on the high line. And I think it's just on the latter part of this lap as it gets squeezed up. You can see Ruben Phelps as well, just getting slightly up on that high line and just giving the wall a little bit of a dab. And what we'll see here is Ross just jumping up, I think, trying to take advantage of that slightly higher line or just falling out of line with these cars, and then he gets shuffled back very, very quickly. So here he goes up on the high line, and you see just how much speed he loses instantly. It's like a parachute being deployed when you jump out of that line of cars, and then he's got nowhere to go. He rubs that high, catches the wall as they go 3 wide, clips the wall a little bit. That scrubs the speed off even more. A few people have to take avoiding action, and then he runs back a little bit further, and then through 3 and 4 as well. You can see he just has too high a line and just going to give contact. As you see, Adam Ariel just give him a little clip there as well. And that's dropped Ross right down the field after a great qualifying.
Yeah, I didn't realise that Adam Ariel had actually clipped him as well. Adam was going to give him no room, wasn't he?
That's it. I think cold tyres as well. It's not an easy thing to do to get around Atlanta at speed sometimes. You just have to be a little bit cautious and just even let the throttle breathe a little bit just to give you a bit of purchase on the entry to the corner when it's that cold, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah, for sure. The actual, after a few laps, the outside is a quicker line than the inside once those tyres get up to heat. But like with anything with the restrictor plate racing, as we used to call it in the old days, now with the pack racing, it's determined by the 2nd and 3rd place car.
That is it. And, a bit spread out at the moment still. There's a few different packs running. We're looking at the leaders, and it's still Jamie Nankervis, Andrew Dyson, Joshua Carroll-Walden, Toby Stent, and Ryan Jones in that front group. Second pack being led by Matty Ray down in 20th position. There's a bit of an SRM train there. They're just trying to keep out of trouble, I guess, and keep their noses clean in this early stage of the race.
Yeah, it's a long race car. We've got a long way to go. It's you just want to keep that car clean at the moment. It's the main thing. Try and stay in touch with the lead pack if you're not in the lead, and just be there undamaged. Be there at the end to try and win it.
Always crucial to be there when the necessary moments happen. So you can see the packs. There's sort of 3 packs now being formed, and you can see just the 42 there of Lachlan Urquhart and that very beautiful teal car, as I was saying before. In association with Tourette's Australia and a charity and awareness that Lachlan is near and dear to Lachlan's heart. Sorry, I'm struggling to speak tonight. Just chucked a link in the YouTube chat if you fancy taking a bit of a view at it, but trying to help raise awareness for Tourette's around Australia and the condition, so people understand it a little bit more. And Lockie doing a great job with that paint job. It looks very pretty and it really does pop out.
Yeah, great job. As Sarah said in the tube, there's some great looking paint jobs out there. It's magic. Guys have done well as always.
Absolutely, and we'll take a bit more of a look at those paints as the race settles in a little bit. It's still in those early stages where too much can happen too quickly. Peter Gretton just collects the wall as he's just gone down a lap. He fell off those packed cars very quickly, and that just shows how quick it can happen. All it takes is to drop off that lead pack and you fall down very quickly. Next on the list is Ross Cheetham in a very pretty Rogue Sim sports car, of course, the Rogue Squadron version, I think we should call it. But he's about to get swallowed up. Where's he going to sit? Is he going to just stay on the low line, or will he move up high to let the leaders past? If he stays on the low line, they're going to have to move up high to get past him, as that pack swoops around on the high side now, and you're going to see them just charging on by. And Ross will probably want to try and link onto the back of this one if he can, just so he can keep in touch and keep himself in contention for the lucky dog spot.
Yeah, this is very frustrating when you're out there, Carl, and you start to drop off and suddenly you're 1.6 seconds behind, and no matter what you do, they're just going to keep pulling away. If you don't have a teammate or two to come back for you, you're going to go laps down and start fighting for position for the lucky dog.
That's it. The accelerator pedal does not go long enough, unfortunately. You start pressing it, and there's just not enough accelerator pedal. It doesn't go any faster, unfortunately. And that's it. You just drop right off this pack, and he's got a little bit of damage to that car as well, and that's going to slow him down even more running out on his own, or if he's leading a pack too. But he's trying to slot himself in there nicely with the leaders at the moment, and they're all moving around quite a lot, you can see, and that's just trying to get a bit of air on the radiator to cool them down a bit.
Yeah, you can overheat these cars here, as we can see there. Someone coming into the pits. Oh no, he's not. Oh, he's locked up. He's trying to pull it up.
Ross Chapin there just dropped on the apron there. Just timed that one awkwardly. Got on the apron, and then there's nothing you can do when that happens. So close to a big wreck, that one. Very lucky, and that's unfortunate. I think that might be Ross's night done.
That's what I was about to say. I think Ross has pulled out there, Carl.
I think it was Christopher Tomlin that had the narrowest of escapes there. He got very lucky. The Schwartz was with him tonight because he was so close to getting absolutely cleaned up. We'll hopefully catch a replay of that one. So keep an eye on that one. But yeah, that was almost a big incident.
Yeah, it was, and maybe Ross picked up more damage than I realised he'd had, because I thought he was fine, but for all we know, and here comes the replay now. Carl, I'll leave you with it.
So you see he drops down on the apron, and that just unsettles the car, and nothing you can do in those. Look at how close it gets to Tomlin. Whew, he's going to be a lucky boy. Do the lottery numbers tonight, Mr. Tomlin, because, yeah, you've got some luck in you.
Yeah, well, I reckon hopefully he's worn his brown pants out there tonight, so everything will be fine. But yeah, maybe there was more damage to that car than we realised. When he got down low, he didn't look like he was actually able to steer it too well, and it locked up very quickly.
Yeah, it could well have been a bit more damage than he expected, or even just a bit. The tyre wear can really catch you out, things like that. So, not a fun experience to have, especially up the front of the field. So yeah, very, very close stuff. I'll have to get in contact with Yoga for that one and get a replacement for his, get some replacement Spaceballs underwear, of course, available at all good stores. Because it's all about the merch.
It is all about the merch, that's exactly right. And speaking about the merch, let's thank tonight's sponsor, SimRigs. They're the sponsor of tonight's race, and we appreciate their sponsorship.
Absolutely. If you are after some good merchandise and a good sim rig, simrigs.com, place to go. Season sponsor of DPR, and we know how good DPR are. They are very, very quick boys. A lot of those use the SimRigs equipment, and it's not the equipment that makes them fast. They're just quick to begin with, but it does not hurt when you've got a good, comfortable rig to race in. I can attest to that one myself because yeah, trying to race just sitting on a desk in an uncomfortable position, I will very quickly tap out. But if I'm sitting in a nice, comfortable simulator rig chair, I can usually make it for a race.
Yeah, I agree totally, 100%, Carl, because having gone from just the office chair now to a full rig, it makes a world of difference where I can sit in mine for 8 hours and still feel comfortable.
Show it off now, Brad.
I don't think I'm showing off, it's just the truth. As we know, I've got some spinal injuries and it made a world of difference.
Showing off being able to sit for 8 hours. God, you lucky bastard. Oh, no. Yeah, that's the thing. It does make a huge difference. The comfort makes a big chance on that one. Stevie Dub just dropped off completely on this pack. He's falling back rather quickly. He's going to fall into the grasp of Adam Ariel and that pack group coming up. And just again, the 515 of Adam Ariel, I've got to say, is probably my favourite paint job tonight. Very cheeky, but fantastic paint job. And, well, the only force paint is Chef Kiss. It's perfect.
Yes, well, we could say just a little bit risque. Is that what we could say?
Well, that's it. Just a tiny, tiny bit. You know, I mean, not too bad, but you know, it's within our limits. You know, still PG. just watching some of these cars, a few people are just really breaking up at the moment. They're just not comfortable running in a pack, and that's really affecting how the race is going, especially down towards the lower stages of the order. You can see lots of shuffling going on, lots of people just uncomfortable following.
Yeah, sorry, Carl. That's what I'm saying to you. That's after lap 25, lap 26, you've really got to try and get off that throttle a little bit. Just ease off it halfway, going into turn 3 and going into turn 1.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing about the new modern Atlanta Speedway. And look, it brings some great races, I must admit. I love this place. When I was last racing here in a truck, I had really good fun, and I think I actually had a good finish for once. But the plate racing is Adam just caught the wall a little bit there. Ads just gave the wall a little nibble, but he seems to be okay as Stevie Dub just slides in behind him in the mean green machine.
Yeah, like you, Carl, I like this new track. I actually love racing here, especially with the right group of guys where you're going to give each other a little bit of room just in case there's an error. And I hate to keep nagging at it, but those that aren't lifting that throttle, the trouble they're having now is just going to keep compounding because every lap you're heating that tyre up more because you're not resting it going in.
Yeah, and I think that's caught a lot of drivers out, and they're just not quite registering yet that they need to give that little lift. A few of them are starting to settle in a bit now, but a lot of people are struggling, and they're just, you see them running up the track, they're just not able to follow as closely as they were before. And that's because they're just pushing a little bit too hard. Sometimes best thing you can do in a restricted plate race, a super speedway style situation, is lifting off that throttle a bit. And that really can help. Meanwhile, up the front of the field, Van Kervis, Carol Walden and Stent have linked together. So we've got 2 Natari cars and a Black Arrow up there. And, well, Black Arrow, they're not averse to the Natari cars. They're almost, you could say, a shadow team.
Yeah, they're certainly affiliated together. They practice together. They do everything together. Yep.
So that will be very useful for them indeed. And just looking at the back there, Ryan Jones and Andrew Dyson running the slightly higher lines at the moment. But yeah, just falling off a little bit now and again. And Darren McKenzie's doing a good job just sticking to the back of this pack. Everybody else is just trying to shuffle their way backwards. And yeah, they seem to be just struggling a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I think it'll just keep getting worse till we get our first pit stop. It'll be interesting to see when the guys finally have had enough and decide to come in. I'm not sure with these cars because I haven't raced them too much on this track what we're going to get out of the tank full. But it'll be, there we go, fuel tank range 55 to 60. So I reckon I'd be hitting that at 55.
Yeah, you want to try and take it as long as possible, but somebody like Jamie Lankervis, he's going to be very much on the lower end. About 55 laps is going to be about the maximum he can do because he's leading this pack, and that means you're going to be using a lot more fuel. Somebody like Darren McKenzie will be able to save that, maybe go to lap 60 right now. The further back in that pack line you sit, the more fuel you can save. Good job by Brett keeping up there as well. Brett Campbell in the, well, should be number 50, but the 015 Golden Octopus was going to have the honorary number of 50 tonight, but somebody, not mentioning names, but somebody forgot to set it right. Cough, cough. Not pointing fingers or anything at my boss. But it's great to see him out there, and it's great to see him hitting that number as well.
When 900 years old you are, memory as good you will not have.
Exactly.
Go back to chewing on your weird swamp rats, Mark. You know, I know what you're doing in the background. But yeah, it's great to see that car out there. The Golden Octopus Foundation as well, a really worthy cause. And of course, the Golden Octopus Endurance event will be coming up in the near future. Make sure to keep an eye on the socials for that one, because we'll have more information about that race around Suzuka. But for now, we are racing around Atlanta as Brett just gets a big side swipe on there and just collects the wall. Curse of the commentator confirmed.
Carl, I should say Darth, you know, the evil you bring to the screen was terrible. He was going so well until you brought it up. Anyway, congratulations, Brett, on your fifth. You're starting out there, and good to see you going well.
What can I say? The force is strong with this one. Luckily, though, it didn't cause too much damage. He didn't explode like Alderaan with that hit, but it has damaged him. As Ryan Jones has just got up in the wall as well, and he just saves it. Big moment there for Jonesy. And that's going to be a little bit of damage to him as well. So these cars are getting very hard to keep, especially on the high line, it seems. Those drivers on the low line are having a much better experience at the moment. The high lines are really, really struggling collecting the wall.
Yeah, 100%, Carl. I said, there's not a lot of grip out there now. The tyres are now 41 laps old. They've been giving them a hard time. So, yeah, the guys are going to have to be really on their toes and on their edge at the moment.
The other problem as well is no one's really running that high line. There's only a couple of cars here and there, and that means there's going to be more and more debris and detritus up there. A few more marbles lurking their way up there as well, and the grip's not going to be there when you try and go up there.
No, you don't want to be the first one to head up there and venture. It won't be too bad just one car width up or something, but certainly that third lane now, I wouldn't want to be up there on these tyres.
Now, as we are rounding into lap 42 here tonight, it is, of course, the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championship, the Weekend Warriors here on Checkered Flag e-streaming. We are so glad you can all join us here tonight. I see the YouTube chat is busy and chatting away tonight. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, everything else in between. Always a pleasure to have you here tonight, watching the only thing that matters, the only coronation that matters at least. Who is going to be the King of Atlanta? We'll soon find out.
Yeah, and I've just been trying to think back. I think last time I raced one of these cup cars here, I reckon I went the furthest than anybody, and I don't think I got past lap 60 or 61, and that was conserving fuel from the time we went out there, under the caution flag sort of thing, as we went around behind the pace car, and I was just turning the motor off, and I was doing everything to try and save fuel.
Using every trick in the book other than getting an extra long fuel line, obviously.
Yeah, well, what I was trying to do, Carl, I'd worked out that if I could do one less fuel stop than everybody else, I had a good advantage because it was probably going to be a green flag race. So, yeah, and I said I was struggling in there, so yep.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you can get that decent length in there, you could be working into a fairly decent stint. I'm just going to do some maths, Brad, while I'm actually thinking of it. So my brain power is going to be split between this and a calculator, which is never a good sign for anybody. Yeah, it could be an interesting one for the strategy, of course. And look, green flag stops are an utter nightmare here at Atlanta as well, because pit entry is very tricky to get right, isn't it?
It's impossibly hard to get right. It is. I love it. I love trying to get on pit road here from race pace down to there, because you're turning the wheel. That's the trouble. You're trying to turn the wheel and you've gone down off the track onto the flats, and they get run over from behind, and that car just doesn't want to turn all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's a very tricky track to get right, and just doing my maths, if somebody can make it about 58 laps, they should be able to make it on 3 stops. So it's going to be very, very tight. You're going to want to try and run that tank to the maximum, just so you can have a little bit, well, the least stops possible, of course. But it's going to be crucial to get to about lap 57, 58 to do it comfortably.
Yeah, I think you're about right, Carl. And I said, and what you will see here is lots of people locking, and the one thing you don't want to do is run that tank nearly dry and then miss your pit stall and have to go back around. It's terrible.
Going to jump on board with Andrew Dyson here, just to see a little bit of what he's seeing.
As we're jumping on board with Daiso right here. So this is a bit of a view of what you see on track in a plate race. And, well, it's not much, is it, Brad? You don't really get much of a view out of these cars at the best of times.
No, you don't, especially up where Daiso is at the moment. The high line, as you said, he's at the mercy of everybody down below in front of him, and that's where he's watching. He's watching those cars up front, just in case they get together, going to drift up in front of him at a reduced rate of speed and knots, of course. The last thing he wants to do is get to the back of someone.
That is it. And, well, you might think it's a bit boring to be watching it out the front of these cars. It's just the same when you're racing them. But you can see here the bump draft in effect on the back of Ryan Jones, who's had a good recovery after that little snag into the wall.
Oh.
And, just got to be so careful with these cars. We saw it there.
We were on board and we saw it live. Exactly right.
That was a clencher for sure, and that's broken the front pack up a fair bit. It's going to take a while to get themselves back up there, but you've got to be so careful with the bump draft in this generation of car. If you just if you're just not dead on, then you tend to end up turning the car, and, well, it's kind of lucky that it was Ryan Jones driving that one, because some other drivers might not have caught that.
Yeah, that's for sure. That experience there, that helped him get through that, because that would have been a lot worse from on board with him. He would have felt like he was sideways.
Yeah, it was a very, very scary moment there, and look, that could have easily wiped out a couple of these leading cars as well. The lead pack have got a fairly decent gap. They're about 7 seconds ahead of the next pack, which is Jai Schultz leading that one. They have a fairly decent gap over Luke Crum. So just the 3 packs at the moment. And,
only 3 packs, Carl. Only 3.
Only 3. That's it. Just only 3. But good job they're working together, because otherwise they would be struggling and just falling into the grasps of those leaders. So we only got the 1 car running on track at the moment that's a lap down. That's Noddy Tompkins. He's fallen out of favour of everybody. He's the Billy Mates at the moment in the number 80 car. Obviously, people aren't a fan of the Empire, which is a shame. All glory to the Empire. They have free cookies. But he's fallen off each pack, so he's going to be struggling to get any pace in that car. And it won't be long until the leaders come up on him and put him another lap down.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The more he tightens his fingers and that steering wheel, the more cars are going to slip through and pass him.
So yeah, it'll be a bit of time, but it won't be. It will happen rather quickly, because when you're running out there on your own, it's very quick for those cars to catch up when they're in the pack.
It is, Carl. You're not losing a tenth of a second. You might have, like I said, 1.5 seconds, and suddenly it's just stretching out and out and out. It's terrible. It's a horrible feeling out there with no friends.
Absolutely. And to give you an idea of why it's so quick, this lead pack, Jamie Nankervis is doing about 295 kilometers per hour down the straight, whereas Noddy Tompkins is about 278, 280 if he's lucky. It's very, very tricky to get the speed in there, but there's such a huge difference in speed. It is just a inevitability of those cars catching up.
Yeah, it is. And Jamie's led, he qualified first. He's led every single lap so far this race, so that's good. I can tell you that's not going to happen all night. People aren't going to keep being as nice to him as they are at the moment. But at the moment, they're trying to save fuel and get those extra, as we said, maybe a lap and a half in, and try and secure a good, solid base to work off.
That's it. We're 55 laps in now. How long can Nankervis keep it out there until his fuel starts to go, oh, okay, I'm starting to run out. Please get more of me. And coughs and chokes and splutters. Hopefully, though, he can make it another lap, because crucially, if he can make it to lap 57, he's going to be okay to make it 3 stops. If he has to come in a bit earlier, that could make it touch and go in the latter stints.
I think Jamie would have done his homework. I think he's going to get there safely. But, as you said, sometimes you don't get a choice. Because he's led all these laps, he will have used a lot more fuel than those couple of drivers behind him. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be very hard for him to get down on the pit road when it comes time, because he's going to try and maintain as much speed as possible before pit road, then hit the flat. So fingers crossed that everything stays in line for him.
That's it. And I imagine the 2 Natari cars are probably going to come in with him as well. So it's going to be a real race on a pit road, and that's where accidents can quickly happen as well. So we'll be watching out for this initial pit stop, because I reckon it's going to be a dicey one. He's in the safe spot now, though. The more laps he can do here, the less pain he's going to feel later on in the race. It's always easy to it's better to save a few extra laps of fuel in the early stages of the race, because when it gets to those last few laps, it's very hard to get that fuel saved.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're in the same Discord channel or not, Carl. I'll be interesting to see if the Natari guys do come in with him or try and do that lap to lead. This is a great opportunity for one of those who's coming second at the moment, JCW or so forth, to lead a lap and pick up a bonus point, which is what I'd be doing this early. And then you can always gather back up as teammates or associates and get back at the job done.
That is it, as we are lap 59, so we're creeping to lap 60. So that's good fuel mileage from these guys. So that is crucial, and we're starting to wobble a little bit at the front, and I feel like that pit lane is going to be getting very hot in a lap or 2.
Yeah, I'd like to think I've taught Jamie well. He's doing really well.
So when he's on his roof on fire in a lap's time, we'll know who to blame.
I was talking about fuel mileage. I tried to, last year in his year with me, I tried to get through his head. You start saving fuel the moment you get on the track. You might need it. So.
Okay, so we'll see how this one runs. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer in fuel mileage than we expected, which is a good thing indeed.
Yeah, I said to Carl, sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I think I got the lap 61. I think that's where I was at.
I was just going to say the fuel mileage did come from a Rebel Spy, so it could have been lying to us too.
You can't trust those Bothian spies, Mark. You know how troublesome they are. They destroyed the Death Star, the scum they are. But we will find out in a few moments that fuel number, because once they start pitting, that is when we get the idea. And I think we've got a little bit of information that they've got about 6 laps left, a couple of laps ago. So I reckon we might be looking at about lap 65 for the pit stops.
Yep, that's what I thought. About lap 65 is where they're going.
Okie dokie. So, be interesting to see what they all do. As you can see now, Ryan Jones getting a big push from Andrew Dyson up into the lead of the race. And they are going to be jumping to the front of the queue. Very, very tight squeeze there. There was about a car's length between, there was about a car's gap there for Dyson to slide down into. But only just. We got, as they come around, we will keep our eye on this one because they're going to start coming into pit lane. And the leaders are, Mark, jump onto pit road because a few people have made an absolute big deal of that one. And one of them is Nan Curvis.
Did I not say that was going to be hard for him? And he did exactly what I said I hope he didn't do.
Big lock-up on the pit entry. And, that's so unfortunate for Jamie Nan-Curvis. That's going to earn him a penalty for sure.
Oh, 100%, Carl. He's going to have to come in and do a stop and go and so forth. But I did say, I don't know if you remember earlier, Carl, I said to you, as the tyres are worn, the outside is quicker. As you saw everybody go past them guys on the outside, and that's when they decided to pit since they were getting past. And this is what happens when you make a quick decision to pit because someone's just passed you. Your mind is just not 100% in the game, and it's so easy to make an error.
That's it. I might suggest to Mark just to go on to pit entry, pit cam, because we're going to see a lot of pit stops coming in now. Ryan Jones next in, just about holds the car. Big lock up there, but looks like he's got it in. Hopefully he did not speed in that one. I'd say keep on pit entry cam because there's a lot of cars coming in there, Mark. And they are flying in at the moment, and all of them look like they've made it just about. So that's Dyson Jones, Jai Schultz, Kai Turner, Adam Ariel, Luke Crum coming in now. So we've got the cars trickling in, but the big moment in that one, the biggest news is Jamie Nan-Curvis, of course. That was a costly error for him, and that's going to be a shame. Jump back to pit entry, Mark, because we've got some more coming in pit lane. And Darren McKenzie next with O'Shea, and there's more to come. Stevie Dubb coming in next. Brett Campbell, Norman Clark looks like he's coming in with Brad Fenley possibly. So we've got a few cars coming in. There's still a couple of cars out on track.
Slew locking up and sliding in the pit road.
Oh, it's dramatic stuff. I'd say just leave it on pit entry because that's where the action's going to be. I feel like that's where we're going to see the most action in the near future. We've still got 9 cars to come in pit lane. And, I think it's going to be a tense moment for all 9 of those cars.
And, Carl, I've just looked... what happened?
I was set to keep it on there because that was contact there. Jake Sannington getting into the back of Ruben Phelps' teammate. Blue on blue contact there. Hopefully, though, they got through that one relatively unscathed. It's trouble when you're working with Rebel Scum. But they look like they've made it. Going to see Derek Jacobs next with Christopher Tomlin. And Lachlan Oquio's managed to get out there for a nice long run. He's the next to come in. And that's the last of our pit stops.
Yep, and as you said there, where you've got teammates getting together on pit road, and you know what your teammate's doing, you know you're coming in, you're prepared for everything. It shows you how easy it is to mess up and to get involved in something you didn't want nothing to do with.
That's it, and look, that's why we say this is the part of the race where we're most likely going to see the caution flags flying out because it's always a dangerous part of the race. And the caution flag is out, in fact.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see what's come out there. Is someone spun off pit road or what's happened?
Mark Smith has got an awful lot of damage on his car. And
Here's the replay now, Carl.
And watching this one, Mark Smith exiting pit lane. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. And he just loses it. And
Perhaps lost the rear end, overcorrected, Carl. And there you go.
is it cold tyres. And who was that in the monster car? It was Kai Turner. Is a lucky boy indeed. Maybe jump to an onboard of Kai Turner, Mark, because jump onto the roll hoop cam for him to watch that one again, because he got very lucky to avoid a big accident.
I think this, Carl, in my opinion, is one of the hardest pit roads to get off and back up to speed and get on the track safely. That's my opinion.
It is. It's very tricky indeed. If you can, jump onto the 408 of Kai Turner. That's it. And watching from his view on that replay will be one heck of a ride. Because we've got people coming in pit lane now just to top up with fuel. And just get a little bit longer into this stint. Not everybody's come in. Only Josh Carroll-Walden, Matty Ray, Ruben Phelps, Brenton Henderson, Kai Turner, Stevie Dubb, Jake Saddington, Jamie Nankervis. Jamie Nankervis, he's going to be thankful for this caution because I think he's going to get the lucky dog here and almost get that mistake negated. So,
yeah, I wasn't sure, Carl, what had happened, if Jamie has already done his penalty or what's happened there.
He served his penalty, so he's been in for that one, and he's got his lap back, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, good luck to you.
So that was very lucky, as we are joined in the booth by Ryan Jones, sitting up there in the front part of the race. Ryan, how are you going, mate?
What's going on? This shit's wild.
A bit of a crazy first stint there for yourself. We saw a big brown trousers moment when Daiso was giving you a little bit of a helping hand, and it turned into one of the best saves we've seen all season.
Wasn't the only one. I've had quite a few moments understeering massively. I'm on the inside line. That's interesting.
Ah, that's fun. I think you're classed as P2. So yeah.
Oh, here we go. We've got to pass the pace car, so something's gone wrong here.
Oh, fun.
We've got a glitch in iRacing, boys.
Oh, joy of joys. Well, we'll let that sort itself out. And look, we'll let you get back to it, Ryan, as we will try and fix this one. We'll hopefully chat to you a little bit later, but good luck for the rest of the race. Hopefully we don't see you needing to make any of those big saves again.
Cheers, boys, and look out for the tyre wear. It's massive tonight.
Thanks, Ryan.
Certainly. Thank you, buddy.
As iRacing has done some kind of weird glitch.
And that was, I don't know if in saying there the tyre wear is massive, Carl. That's it is exactly what I was talking about if you're not backing off early.
Sorry, Mark, we might need to extend the caution here. So hopefully one of our admins can quickly jump into that one and extend the caution, because I think there's been a bit of a glitch here. Because we don't want it going back to green flag racing at the moment. As everything is a little bit messed up. But it looks
Pace
like
car's off.
pace car is off.
There's a car.
Single file
Jamie,
restart.
Norman stopped on the track.
Yeah, a few people have had to slow down, stop, because they've got positional penalties, I think. So some kind of big glitch there has just made things a little bit awkward. So yeah, sorry about that, folks. Never fun when these things happen.
No, and that's normal, Carl. When you get a change of flags really close together, you might go from a caution to green, and before all the cars across the line, another caution will come out, and that's often happens, and it'll throw it into disarray. And it's unfair to drivers, but there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, very unfortunate stuff, and that's thrown a few drivers in some wrong positions. And I think, unfortunately, Jamie Nankervis was one of the ones that got I think the only one that actually got a penalty out of that one. So he's going to have to serve another penalty here. But we've got racing on track as cars are a little bit out of order as well. So forgive us. Christopher Tomlin on the low line. But up front is Ryan Jones in the lead of the race with Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, well, they did take the lead just before the caution came out previously, so, that's worked out all right in them, the way they've gone. They've earned it. I said they went around the outside of Jamie, like I said, they would on more tyres, and the boys are playing it as they should.
That is it. So, yeah, few people have got fallen off the lead lap as well, unfortunately, due to that that admin error. That's sorry, not that iRacing error, not admin error. Sorry, iRacing error. So frustrating when those things happen, but yeah, we should hopefully be sorting it back. And look, things usually work themselves back, so hopefully people will be able to get back on the lead lap. They're going to have to fight for it, and currently the driver fighting for it is Brett Campbell. He's the first of those cars a lap down. He's had a solid night tonight, running up in the top end of the field. He's been running right up there as Ryan Jones goes loose, goes up high, and he's going to have to wait his turn because a lot of cars are going to go past him on the low line now. As you can see, is that Stent?
Big hit
back in the background. Where is the caution flag? Who is that? Christopher Tomlin. Christopher Tomlin, big wreck there. That has thrown his car out. The 212's night is over and done with. It's still limping along, but no caution flag as of yet. Jump back to the replay here. They were a bit messy there, sort of almost 3-4 wide as they were coming across the quad oval section, and unfortunately, Christopher Tomlin was just caught up a little bit high. So, see the replay just here. So, I think it was Brett Campbell that made contact with him. He drops down underneath the line and just catches the back of Tomlin. And, everybody got lucky in that other than Christopher Tomlin, unfortunately.
Yeah, as you said, Brett got into him just enough to turn him. It was unfortunate in a bad place on the track, so straight up hard into the wall and no caution out, which makes it even worse. But his night will be done.
That is that for that car. The engine is very much gone. He's managed to limp it back to pit lane. Great job by Christopher Tomlin to get it back. Unfortunate, though, for that to happen. Up the front, Dyson is battling with Toby Stent, and Ryan Jones is back up there as well. We saw Ryan Jones having a big moment, but he's managed to get it back up there and back into fighting position. The front pack is fighting very hard at the moment. We're on lap 79. You wouldn't think it. We've still got 151 laps to go.
Yeah, 100%. That's all the excitement at the front was happening, but there was so much going on we couldn't comment there. It was with Dyson behind Jones. Jones wasn't comfortable with Dyson right up his backside there, up his clacker. And it looked like it was going to be a wreck. Dyson decided he was going to pass him. Jones then moved back down. It was the third place car was trying to stay with them and going to take on and pass Jones, and it's all happening.
It is indeed, and well, they say anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does, and we've just seen that indeed. A lot of drivers got very lucky not to get caught up in that heavier, but they are racing hard still here tonight for the Australian Stock Car Championships. This is the Weekend Warriors, of course, the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championships here on Checkered Flag e-streaming for the Sim Rigs. 350 here tonight at Atlanta. Okay, and Derek Jacobs up there at the moment. He's running in P2 at the moment. He's up into second place, and he's right underneath Ryan Jones in another of those beautiful Star Wars entries with the Testaments of the Force on the nose with a beautiful purple and red lightsaber combination. And I can't quite see who is holding those. I think it might be Kylo Ren. But he's currently running up there in P2 and the only American contingent in tonight's race as well. Good to see the international flavour running well. We've also got Toby Stent racing out of Japan at the moment. Of course, he is a Kiwi, but he is racing out of Japan as Derek Jacobs gets into the lead.
Yeah, good on Derek. I said he turns up most weeks, starts. Doesn't start in park, he has a go. It's Derek's a good fella, and it's great to see him up there. I'm struggling because I'm on a little notebook computer on the thing to see who's who, and I don't recognise the paint jobs, of course, and the numbers I'm struggling with. So, yeah, good to see Derek up there. And, of course, he's got Mackenzie. I can see the O2 there. I know who that is. I've seen that in my mirror enough. The O2 or in front of me or I'll be behind him. So, good to see. There's some good drivers up front now. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
You see Jamie Nankervis just trying to link onto the back there. He's unfortunately 4 laps down after having to serve that penalty. And look, that's a real shame for Nankervis because he was having a solid run up the front of the field in this race. And yeah, it's a real shame when things like that happen. Meanwhile, Ryan Jones is back to the front. He's wanting to try and get the W next to his name because he's had so many P2s this season. He wants to get a win underneath his belt. And, well, the aggression of Ryan Jones, we know he is always going for the win. And, look, if he can get the W tonight, he'll be very happy indeed.
Yeah, Ryan, great driver, as we know.
We've got cars going backwards. We've got cars.
Oh, really?
Brett Campbell and, who was that with him? And Jai Schultz. No caution flag flying. Let's see if I can catch the replay of that one. And,
Brett Campbell definitely involved there. Who else? Oh, twice hit.
Yeah. Big
3 times hit.
So Norman Clark's just tagged the side of Brett Campbell and pinged him down into Jai Schultz, unfortunately. So bit of a moment there. So watch this. Norman Clark's just going to give a tag to the side of Brett's car.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yep.
Unsettles him, bang, straight into Jai, and nothing those drivers could do. The bit of a passenger when that happens, really unfortunate. And the steering racks are absolutely gone on those cars as they are just trying to not hit each other. But again, no caution flag for that. So some people got very unlucky with that one. Obviously, Jai Schultz, the biggest one in that one to get unlucky. He was just a passenger when that happened. Yeah,
with just a couple of cars like that, Carl, it's almost a little bit like a self-cleaning track where because there's so much banking up high and none down low, the cars tend to stay down once they get down. They either come up and bounce down or they stay down, and often it'll happen where there's no caution.
And that's the peril of racing almost 3 wide in a situation like that. And it took its toll there, unfortunately. And a big shame for Brett Campbell on 50th appearance here tonight to not be making it much further in this race. Hopefully he can get the car cleaned up a little bit, maybe get out there and score at least a couple of points.
Yeah, again, we've got Daiso trying to push Jones there, and Jones not comfortable with Daiso pushing the way he was. I know Daiso's dropped back to 4th now, and Dylan O'Shea's moved up there, so I don't think Ryan is feeling comfortable with people pushing him hard on his tyres. We heard him say earlier that, you've got no idea what it's like out there. I think he's a little bit nervous when someone's pushing him hard.
Yeah, that car's not looking overly settled when he's getting the big moves, but he's sort of... He's managing it here and there, but he's just seems to be a little bit nervous, and you can understand why. He's had a few big saves. But while these guys are a little bit broken up, this is letting the rest of the pack close up because they formed a nice big long single file line, and they are charging up to the rear of this group. Norman Clark in the lead of the charge. There's a huge charge going on behind, and they're catching up to Nathan Button very, very quickly. So it won't be long until this turns into a, almost 15-car race. Very, very quickly. That's going to be what happens. You can see here from the... Ryan Jones just has a big moment again. Just saves it, but that's caused a check-up. You can see here from the copter cam just how quick that big line of cars is catching. They are doing a fair amount more miles per hour than the rest of that pack.
Yeah, Carl, hand over fist. They're incredibly closed in so much since that previous lap. They were just in the picture. Now they're right in the picture. So, yeah, look, if I was Ryan Jones, I think I'm going to drop back to 3rd or 4th and just settle. He's not comfortable in the lead with whoever's pushing him, doing what he's doing. So Ryan's such a good driver. He wants to be there at the end. And I think it's time for him to, he's led a lap, step back, regroup, and prepare the attack for later.
I do wonder if he's just keeping it sort of a little bit behind, just trying to save fuel a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, could be. That's exactly, as I said, that's my strategy. Fuel. But, yep, fuel and tyres. Save as much as you can, for sure. You don't want to be getting pushed. If you're not comfortable leading, you've got nothing to gain. He's not, okay, you could say, I'm going to lead the most laps, but who wants to try and lead the most laps when you're not comfortable in the lead? You're better off just to give away that bonus point and drop in behind like he's done. I think he's done a really sensible job now. Daiso's now pushing our leader, who is at the moment, what have we got? Dylan O'Shea up in the lead, and you can see the way Dyson is on the back of him. He's pushing him so hard. So that's what you need to be done. You need to be comfortable with someone doing that to you on this track.
As they go sideways, O'Shea goes very sideways, and Dyson just collects the wall a little bit as he drops down to Jacobs, and around he goes. A huge wreck at the front of the field.
Oh, some big names involved in that one.
That is a big one. Derek Jacobs caught a huge slap with that one. And, well, that's night done for a lot of drivers tonight.
100%. Yeah, I was just looking at some comments too. When we get a chance, we'll have to talk about something Kobe Jordan's written for us that we didn't pick up on.
So let's watch this again. So O'Shea gets a bit of a rub, gets a bit loose. So there's a bit of a moment where they get loose, and then... So I think this is the moment where they get loose, and Dyson's going to just scrape the wall a little bit. And then we'll see the aftermath of that in a moment, because they're coming through. And this is where they get a little bit loose. Dyson collects the wall there. They check up a little bit, and O'Shea, he's just going to drop down to that low line, and he does not have a gap there because he collects Jacobs. Round they go, and that is a huge wreck there. A lot of fast cars collected in that one.
Yeah, unfortunate for Derek Jacobs, our only international driver there, and of course Mackenzie, just nothing wrong, just got cleaned up. So yeah, some big names there taken out. Yeah,
that was a huge wreck there, and look, Darren McKenzie was very unlucky in that one as well. I see we joined it in the booth by Brett Campbell. Brett, how are you going, mate?
Could be better, Carl. Could be better.
While we've got you here, are you going to be able to get that car back out on track to score some points tonight, or is it done?
I think she's pretty much done, mate. I would be a roadblock for anybody if I went back out there, unfortunately.
Oh, that is a big shame on the 50th appearance of yourself, and look, it's a shame to see you out so early. Obviously, a big moment. We sort of caught it on cameras. There was a little bit of contact between yourself and Norman Clark, and then a big accident after that.
Yeah, mate. 3 wide down the back straight, and yeah, I think I just got arrow washed into Norm and then down into the inside line.
Oh, that is a big shame. Obviously, we heard from Ryan Jones just before as well that it's been very tricky out there. What was your feeling on the car out there? It looked like you had a quick one, but it did not look comfortable.
Towards the end of this, like the last 15, 20 laps of that first stint, it was a bit hairy, I will say that. But yeah, I think once I could find the groove, I think I would have been right. But it's just really tricky to try and find that groove and get the right lane to be sort of sitting in the whole race to be able to do it.
A big shame indeed. Look, hopefully we'll have some better luck next time, Brett. And I do apologise for giving a little bit of a curse to the commentator earlier on in the race for you. So sorry about that one. But while we got you here, of course, a bit of a shout out for the Golden Octopus.
Yeah, mate. Big shout out to my partners this year in the Golden Octopus Foundation. Sadly, I couldn't bring the R15 up the front this week. But yeah, anybody who wants to support the Golden Octopus, if they go to the Weekend Warriors website, they'll find a link there to take them directly to the Golden Octopus Foundation's webpage.
No, absolutely. Look, great cause, and also the Golden Octopus race will be coming up in the near future as well, won't it, Brett?
Yeah, mate. 1st of July, we're having the Golden Octopus 1000. Bit of a different attitude. Well, not so much an attitude event, whereas we're normally used to seeing things of the likes of the GT3 cars and our very own supercars running around. These are being done in the Kia Optima, the Toyota GR86, the Hyundai XL, and the Audi R3. We're going to be doing 1,000 Ks around Suzuka in Japan.
I look forward to that one, mate. We're about to go back to Green Flag Racing. Hopefully we'll see you back here in better circumstances in the near future. Brett Campbell there.
No worries. Thanks, boys.
As we go back to Green Flag Racing here tonight for the Sim Rigs 350. It is, of course, the Star Wars round. It is the Lucas Oils Australian Stock Car Championship, and Toby Stent is in the lead, but he's not going to be in the lead for long because I believe he's got a penalty heading his way with Brad Fenley and Darren McKenzie. All three of those drivers have the dreaded black flag next to their name. So they're going to have to serve a drive-through or a stop-go at least for that one. A big shame for those cars. And that's a horrible thing to have to do, and that's going to lose them a lot of time on the green flag. Meanwhile, up the front, it's Ryan Jones, and Lachlan Urquio has managed to find his way to the front now. The 42, the very pretty teal car, of course. He's running this in association with Tourette's Australia for the Tourette Syndrome Association of Australia for the week. It is the Tourette's Awareness Week, and that's why he is running that car at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you, Ryan will be a lot more comfortable with Lockie behind, because Lockie won't sit as close as what Daiso would have. Like when Daiso was pushing, Lockie will be happily just to tuck in like he's doing now. So Jonesy, who, because he did drop back 3 or 4 places like I suggested and wanted to, is now leading and looking a lot more comfortable out front.
Absolutely, and we've got a lot of cars that have been taken out with that early that wreck that we saw just before. Derek Jacobs, of course. Andrew Dyson is in pit lane, having to get a lot of repairs done. Dylan O'Shea out with that one, and yeah, a lot of cars falling off out of that one. So that's a big shame. And one of the early leaders as well out with that one. So that was a very pivotal wreck in this race, I think.
Oh, 100%, Carl. I mean, it happened up front. When it happens up front, you know, they're the guys who are leading, and they're the guys that they get taken out. So, yeah, it's a cat amongst the pigeons now.
Yes, indeed. And there's a lot of wounded cars out there as well. So if you've got a clean car, if you've got a clean sled, you are looking good at the moment. Still a long way in this race to go. It's all a bit free wide action here. As who was that dropping in? I think it might have been Toby Stent just dropping into a group there, and Matty Ray just had to ease off a little bit there. So tempers are a little bit high out there as well. I think a few drivers are a bit frustrated after getting caught up, and around goes Luke Crum. Big
Someone's been
accident
turned,
down
yep.
the back.
I think he had some help, was he? I don't want to say he had help, but it looked, maybe it just happened so quick that maybe he had some help.
Yeah, looks like he's just, well, catch a replay of that one.
Here
But
we
it
go
looks
now.
like he's just gone down. He thought he had a bit of room underneath him. And unfortunately, there was a car underneath him, and around he goes into the wall. And that is that for the number 30 tonight, unfortunately. And a shame to see that car with all of that damage. He's going to have to limp to the pit lane. And unfortunately, Leia was not protecting him with the force tonight.
No, hopefully he'll learn from that a little bit there. You got to be sure if you're going to go down to the bottom when you're a car width up, you got to make sure there's no one there, or that's going to happen every time.
It's so tricky sometimes, Brad, with the spotter, of course, because we use AI spotters, and they're usually pretty good, but sometimes they're not as accurate as you need them to be, and sometimes it's just that tiny, tiny margin that they can have it happening. As Adam Ariel's having a little bit of a moment. There's a lot of racing down here. Adam Ariel, and who's that just behind them? It's Brenton Henderson there. And I think on the outside is Jake Saddington. That was a bit of a close moment as well. Some real close shaves happening. And as I said, it's still very early in the race. We're not even halfway yet. We're on lap 105 for 125 laps to go. And these boys are racing extremely hard. I think tempers are a little bit high at the moment.
I think you're 100% right, Carl. I think there's a little bit of animosity going on out there between some drivers, and we're seeing the results. But as we were talking about callers and so forth, you've got to be sure, Carl. You can't come down unless you're certain. You know, it's not, I think I'm clear. My spotter said I'm clear. You've got mirrors. That's what we use them for.
Absolutely. And look, I mean, it can vary a little bit, of course, on the setup you're using. So I know some boys, they have one monitor. Some have all 3 triple screens. Some have the ultra-wide 49-inch super wide monitor like myself. Some people use VR, and these are all different tools in your arsenal. As Ryan Jones is just dropping to the back of that pack now, but these are all different tools you have, and sometimes you don't get as much side view as you would want. So sometimes if you're using just the one monitor, you don't have much view from your sides, and you need to assign a button just to look left and right. And you know, it is very tricky to sort of see in those positions sometimes, depending on what equipment you're using. And that's one of the trickier things of sim racing.
Oh, Carl, there's no comparison between a single monitor or triples or so forth. I agree 100%, but if you're not sure, don't go. Like, it's a long way to go in this race. We're on lap 107 to 230. If you're not sure, just take a lap, you know?
That is it. As Lachlan Quio shuffles his way into the lead of tonight's race, and he's now going to get himself a couple of bonus points. And as I said, it's a long way to go because we haven't even reached half distance yet, and that means if you've had a bit of a wreck earlier on, you've got a lot of laps to make up to get to that point. You need to make it to half distance here for the Australian Stock Car Championships, the Lucas Oil Australian Stock Car Championships to, get points, of course.
Yeah, and you've got to get to halfway to get your points, so that's got to be in your head. The first thing I've got to do is get to halfway. That's what I've got to do. I've got to get to halfway cleanly to give myself a chance of winning. Get through, get to halfway if I can.
That is it, and it can be a bit painful doing that when you've got a very beaten up car. Never fun when things like that happen, and it's never fun driving a damaged car in the best places, but on a fast track like the New Atlanta, it's even worse because you're going a lot slower than those cars around you, and especially if you don't have anybody to work with you in a bit of a pack, that can just feel like you're doing nothing at all. As I see, Jai Schultz has managed to get back on track in the 27, which is some good news because he took a whopping whack on that car, and he's only a lap down now, so good news for Jai in the 27. The Schwartz is protecting him, it seems, a little bit with that one, but probably not going to be in a chance to win it, but at least he'll be able to scrape some points pie and get a fairly decent finish for championship-wise. Meanwhile, up the front, Kai Turner's just lifting off a little bit. Looks like he's going to drop back in the pack in the 408 monster car. And a driver that's been having some really good runs recently, Kai, but not always having the best of luck.
Yeah, for sure. It was amazing to see Jai back out there. Only a lap down, you said, which is great. I'm quite surprised. So he's done really well. His team, not him, but his team has done really well to get that car back on track really quick. There we just saw a little bit of give and take, which is what you need. Car was out wide. He could have stuck his nose in there, kept him out wide and forced it, but instead he backed off, let him in, and here we go. That's why the Monster Energy car's now running fourth, because a little bit of give and take was given to him.
That's it. Good awareness there, and look, it's going to be interesting to see if FSRM can actually link up their cars because they've got a few sleds out there tonight. They're probably the largest team we've got on track now, and they've got a fair few clean cars in that group. If they can link themselves up at the front of this pack, they could be in a really strong position.
Yeah, they do. As we know, cars of thousands if they can link themselves, but same thing, we saw them running into each other earlier and that, so it'll be a long way to go. Lots going to happen.
Is indeed, and just looking out there at some of the cars that have been in pit lane, haven't been in pit lane. A few people took advantage of the cautions, some didn't, and one of those cars that didn't is Noddy Tompkins in 14th position at the moment, and he's going to be praying for a caution flag. He's going to be trying to use the force to will that into existence because he's only got about 15 or so laps left in the tank in that car. So he could be in an awkward spot. He's currently a lap down as well, unfortunately. But he could be in a bit of an awkward spot in that car because he's got much less fuel than the rest of the field.
Yeah, big thing. He's trying to save. His fingers across, his toes across. He just needs a caution. That's what he needs.
Only the 12 cars on the lead lap now. Ryan Jones, the final runner on the lead lap. But he's still in the front group, only a second and a bit off the leader. And that's a place you don't need to be much higher than that at this stage of the race. A long way to go as we click over the halfway distance. A lap or two ago, 114 laps remaining. We've got 4 cars a lap down. Toby Stent currently leading that group, and he's going to be wanting to stay right up at the front of the field. He's currently sitting in 3rd position in the queue, but he is a lap down, remember. He wants to stay there so he can get that lucky dog position. Noddy Tompkins is the next car in that lap down position. He's a few cars back. He's just behind Ryan Jones, I think. And then it is Tristan Koch. He's fallen right off the pace. He's working out there with Jai Schultz at the moment. Then we have Darren McKenzie caught up in that big incident. Luckily, he got away with it relatively scot-free. So he got very lucky in that accident because I thought his car would be done for the night. But that thing is still running out there. 2 laps down, mind you. He's got Brad Fenley for company out there. Another car that's only 2 laps down. And then Jamie Nankirv is 3 laps down. And the rest of the drivers are, sitting a bit further off the field.
Yeah, Carl, I'm amazed at Mackenzie. Darren is out there only 2 laps down. Like you, I thought his car was done, almost wrecked, and he's doing so well. So he is obviously using the force and everything else to keep in touch with what's going on.
Yeah, he's doing a great recovery drive, in all honesty, because I thought that his night was absolutely over, and yeah, he got very lucky not to receive more damage in that car for sure.
Yeah, I thought he was gone. The good thing going on here at the moment, the leaders are not pushing each other. You can see they're staying half a car length, nearly a car length at times off each other. So the big fighting here will be to see who can move up to try and challenge for that lucky dog position. That's where the excitement will be going on.
And we've got a car re-emerging. It is a Spectre of the Force, or a Spectre of the Schwartz, you should say. Christopher Tomlin in the 212 has managed to get some repairs done to that Camry and get it back out on track. He's 40 laps down, though, so a long night to go, but he could be in for a fairly decent finish if he can actually keep it running along, because there's a lot of cars that are unfortunately no longer competing in this race. We've lost in the group. We've lost Luke Crum, Derek Jacobs, Andrew Dyson, I think his night is run, Dylan O'Shea, Brett Campbell, Mark Smith, Ross Chatham, Peter Grattan and Aidan Schultz. So a few wounded, unfortunately, a fair few cars that have bowed out, and really there's not much more they can do, and sad to see those big accidents happen, but that is the way of motorsport.
It certainly is, and some big names there that you mentioned are out. It's like a who's who of the NASCAR and Oscar, in Australia. It's terrific.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names, and that means that there's a lot up for grabs as well, because it means that we could well see a new winner added to the season trophy tonight. Somebody could easily get a W next to their name that may not get it all the time, because there's a few cars that we would expect to be up there leading the race that are no longer competing for that chance.
Yeah, for sure, Carl. I was just having a look there. Norman's running this race pretty smart at the moment. I'm just watching the lines he's taking, what he's doing. Lockie's out front, doing everything right, of course, and you got Norman there, and then Kai Turner behind. So I think with those three up there, it's pretty safe and secure for them. I don't think any one of those three are going to do anything silly to the car in front.
That's it, and deft hand at the oval scene, and it's Norman could well be a dark horse tonight and could easily sneak in a victory as well, and that would be a very popular win. Lachlan Oakley as well could get his first victory. I won't put too much of a curse on these boys, because we know how strong they can be, unfortunately. I am strong in the ways of a curse. But look, it could be a fantastic opportunity for a lot of drivers, and as we said, Kai Turner as well, his luck needs to change a little bit. It'd be nice to see him coming back to winning ways. It's been a long time since we've seen Kai out there, and good to see him back out on track more regularly. Yeah,
really, really good to see Kai out there. Look, at the moment, it's a matter of with Lockie and Norman. If everything keeps going the way it's going, I don't think Lockie's got teammates out there. Norman doesn't have the teammates on the lead lap, so it'll be interesting. We know Norman's got the experience over Lockie, but they've both got ability, so it'll be good. I mean, we're not even halfway yet, but yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, Norman has got the Atari cars of Joshua Carroll Walden and Toby Stent. Toby Stent is right behind Norman Clark at the moment. He's a lap down, of course, but he is right there for Norman. So that could be a useful ace up his sleeve later in this run. And don't discount Jamie Nankervis as well. We saw him get unlucky with some penalties, but that car is relatively scrape-free. So I think that's the important thing. Who has got a car that is not damaged? And they're becoming less and less as this race ticks on.
Yes, they are, and of course I will correct myself. They are past halfway. They've actually only got 104 laps to go of the 230. So yeah, keep an eye on the laps, Brad, when you're watching the race.
Oh, look, it's easy to forget these things. Easy to miss them as well. We're busy talking, having fun, chatting away, and maths is never the strong point for people that drive cars.
Well, I don't drive cars. I just warm them up for better drivers.
Some good stuff out there. Got Stevie Dub still out there. Just saw him there. Is Adam Ariel just off the track? Was he out of position there? I didn't quite see what happened to Adam Ariel.
Yeah, I don't know. Something definitely, something wasn't right there with Adam. I saw something he suddenly dropped.
Looks like something's happened here. We're on a replay now. Stevie Dub just goes down and
there you go. There was contact. There you go. Stevie Dub. Eh? Pressure.
Great job from Adam Merrill there to save that car. Ad's doing a good job of keeping that car from wrecking. The only force car using all of the force it can. And Twilight Pin-Up keeping it safe there.
Yep, Stevie Dub is quite amazing. That's how he drives. It doesn't matter if there's 100 laps to go. If you get out of line a little bit and he can stick that nose in below you, he's got to do it. Believe me, he's done it to me several times. He's never gives up, never gives an inch. He asks for no one to do any more, like he does everything. He's quite happy for you to do the same to him, but that's how he drives.
Absolutely. Look, Steve Dub is a hard racer, a fair racer, but a hard racer as well. I've had a few on-track moments with Stevie Dub. I mean, it's not often that he's lurking down in the dregs of the field where I sort of end up, but occasionally it happens. And there's been some good racing. It's all getting a little bit close between Nathan Button and Kai Turner at the moment. These two really racing hard, and Kai's just been sent up to the high line, shuffles his way back into the group, and slots himself nicely between Button and Maddie Ray. Good move there for Kai Turner, just dropping himself back a little bit. It's going to save a little bit of fuel there, so should hopefully add a bit more fuel into his tank and keep himself running. So we will keep our eyes on these cars as a Rebel car is in front of a Stormtrooper car, and look, maybe that's why we've seen such aggression here tonight. The no good, dirty rebels are playing dirty and attacking our poor, brave, valiant Stormtroopers and the beautiful forces of the Empire, Brad.
That's 100% Carl. Sorry, I was dropped down a bit there, so don't know what's going on.
We'll blame Mark for not paying his bills. That's the easy way to go. If there's problems, it's always Mark's fault. I mean, that's what happens when you live in a swamp on Dagobah.
Okay, for those that don't know, I've turned up at Mark's place today in my trailer, going around Australia, and so I'm broadcasting from Mark's place from a different room where he is. So yeah.
Yes, the lovely swamps of Dagobah. Yes.
Nothing wrong with my swamp.
Dagobah system.
No, it's good to hear, and look, we're glad to have you travelling around this country, Brad. It's nice that you can stop in and see us as well. Big tour as well. I mean, Australia's not exactly a small place, is it? So up at the front, still Lockie in the lead, but the car's getting a little bit nervous behind. I wonder if some of them are getting a little bit hot. The day is moving on, of course, so it's still very overcast, 26 degrees Celsius out there in air temp, and that's going to hurt the engines, of course. Running in a pack like this, it does get very, very hot in the car, and that can make the engine get very, very hot as well, and often lead to problems. And sometimes you can see those cars go pop as, Kai Turner just gets a little bit of a nibble on the wall there as he tries to jump up to the high line. Yep.
Here we go, 3 wide. This is a worn tyres, 3 wide. This is not what you want to be doing. Hold my breath.
Yeah, this is where it starts getting a little bit scary, biscuits. And look, good job from everybody. They're keeping it safe at the moment. There's not too much scary happening. Noddy Tompkins, 66 laps into this run. Of course, there was a couple of laps under pace car conditions, but he's going to need to come into pit lane in the very near future. I wonder when he'll be darting down pit road. It may be a lap or two. Hopefully, he does not cough and splatter to the end. But as we know, when you're running out there under caution laps, it does give you a couple of extra litres.
Yeah, for sure, Carl. We saw there with Kai Turner when they got up there that Kai just gave room. You know, he realised why put myself in that position to have a wreck, backed off the throttle a bit, and we kept going under green. That's what we want to see.
Oh, lapped car! Oh, we missed that on the stream, but that was a big moment. I think that might have been who was that? I think that might have been Tomlin. The group of cars came up and he was sitting on the high line, just keeping out of trouble. But unfortunately, we had almost a big moment there as we had cars trying to form up on the high line, and then the lapped car comes into grips across the quad oval. And I think a few people, if they were sitting on a lump of coal, would have been sitting on a diamond after that one.
Yeah, I didn't quite see on my screen. It said I'm using a little notebook computer what happened there, but it sounded exciting. I wish I'd been watching.
I don't know if you should take exciting or scary, because I lean on the more of the horror side of that one. It was a little bit scary, but everybody got through unscathed. No problems as well. Not Christopher Tomlin's mistake either. He was doing the right thing by just keeping high out of trouble. But unfortunately, a few cars were just going for a run at the same time as he was just going around on the high side. Of course, he's trying to get some laps under his belt so he can get half distance. He will also end up getting a few spots out of this as well. He might even secure himself. Oh, we could even secure himself a top 20 finish by going around.
Yeah, I agree totally, Carl. And I've just heard from the back reports from Yoda that Daiso's now back on the track, so he's also going to be trying to do the same, get to the halfway point. So this will be great to watch these guys. It's important to them to try and get to halfway to get some points.
Yeah, that is it. And look, Dyson could be a very valuable ally as Nolly Tompkins is coming into pit lane now. He made it 70 laps on that stint, so that's crucial information for us with those caution laps under his belt, that he could extend it that far out. He was sitting fairly far back in the pack, but that means that a few of these drivers could easily make it 70 laps into this stint. And if they do, Brad, I'm just going to do some maths quickly.
Yeah, absolutely, Carl. I don't know how anybody can do 70 laps on a tank of fuel in these cars. It's just not even written in my book that it's possible. So either they're down or they're throttled. It's amazing. I'm trying to think how they're doing it. Wasn't so many under caution. That's an amazing amount of laps, 70 on a tank full of this car. There we go. We got the high line now. As I said, tyres are worn. You can see, like I said earlier, at the start of the schedule, the high. Oh, there's contact. Oh, the high line was forming until they spread out like a asteroid belt. It was amazing.
That was catastrophe on the level of order on there, but they all managed to hold it together. That was a scary, scary moment. If somebody could make it to that sort of 70 lapish moment, well, they might be able to make it home on that final stop. So this could be crucial. We've got 88 laps remaining, and they need to do about 23 more laps to get to a point where they can really make it home. So,
yep, Carl, 70 laps on my calculations is half throttle for quite a while. You're going to drop off, you're going to go down 2 laps, and yeah.
Well, Noddy was sitting in this queue, so he was sitting around about where Jake Saddington, Ruben Phelps is at the moment, in this sort of lower down section. So that could be crucial information to SRM that it is possible. And look, if they can make it 70 laps, they can make it home on fuel here.
Oh, 100%. And none of those guys are dills. You've got some great minds and great drivers out there. So as a team, if they're getting that feedback and that information, I don't care what the blokes in front of me are doing. We're going to stick together. We're going to run our race. And as a team, we're going to come first, second, third, and fourth.
I imagine they are shaking their fist and swearing at me right now, because that's probably their master plan, and I've just given it away on air. If you do want a strategist, I do charge about $250 an hour, but I am available most nights. And unsurprisingly, the 2 DPR cars are now working together, because you've got Stevie Dub charging to the front because he's got an extra 750 horsepower of Andrew Dyson sitting behind him, giving this car a great run to the front of the field. And look, that's not going to be bad news for Lachlan Urquio if they can scooch up in front of him, because that's going to give him a little bit more fuel saving. Kai Turner joining that group as well. Kai's just latched onto the back of that with Ryan Jones trying his best. Ryan's just fallen off a little bit. He's trying to take advantage of a side draft at the moment, but it's quite there. He needs a bit more help, and it's coming.
He needs to come down now, Carl. He needs to come down now. Get down there, Ryan. Yeah, look, now also it's not halfway that Dyso's trying to get to. It's his teammate Stevie Dub. That's where he wanted to get to. So that's what's going on there. You're going to have 2 guys nose to tail leading the race. obviously Daiso's not leading. You know what I'm saying? Stevie Dubb is leading, and they're going to be very hard to pass.
They are indeed. Jamie Lankervis coming down pit lane now. He made it 71 laps into that stint. So that is telling me it is definitely possible to do it. As Kai Turner is right on the inside at the moment. Everybody's on the high side. Kai trying to shuffle forward. So we've got a bit of racing going on in this race, Brad.
Yeah, we have. I'm not sure if Jamie's done the 71 laps, has he?
He has on.
He
Yeah,
has?
so, yeah.
Okay, well, this is why he's 4 laps down. He's going so bloody slow.
Very close there, Kai Turner. Just very close to Toby Stent, I think that was.
Hold my breath. That was close.
But Jamie was sat at the back of this queue, Brad, and as I said, I think if you're sitting in the back of this pack with those caution laps in play as well, because we had those laps under caution, you might be able to just sneak it over that point and make it to that crucial lap that could get you to the end on fuel.
Yeah, for sure. As I said, Jamie knows, and I said Jamie was my teammate. Jamie drove for me, the other year, and so he knows that I'm joking when I rubbish him and say some stuff. He would have been in his head the whole time out there, save. What do I do to save fuel? It's not a matter of clutching. You turn the motor off. Everything. It's great.
Well, as I said, that was at speed though, so I think it was just a little bit of just lifting with this pack. So obviously they're getting fairly good fuel mileage in the back of this train, but they've got to be in the back of this train. Up the front, they're probably going to be using a fair bit more. So it's going to be fascinating to see who can make it to that crucial lap. We've got 80 laps remaining, of course. They need to make it another 25 laps, I think it is, on fuel. It's going to be a very tall ask to do.
Yeah, well, we've just been saying people are doing 70 laps on a tank of fuel. In that case, they don't need to last too much longer before they can come in for possibly their last stop. Keeping in mind, though, 2 green-white checkers. The last thing you want to be doing is being out there on worn tyres with a green-white checker. So you're going to try and keep a few laps under your belt.
That's it. Well, we saw with the green flag running, the pure green flag running, they managed about 65 laps, I think it was. So, with that long caution period we had, that extra caution flag, I think a few drivers might try it, but it's going to be a very tough ask to do because they've got to have to have been fuel saving from the start of that stint. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Lachlan Oakko just shuffling back in the pack a little bit now. He just wants to try and get into a position where he can do a bit of fuel saving because he's been leading for a long time. Jai Schultz is now coming into pit lane. He has done 65 laps on the dot, so he's been out there on his own, and that explains why he's coming down pit lane now. So that is that's about the maximum on these cars when you're running with no help, of course.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree. Sorry, Mark, go on.
No, I was just going to say, Lachlan's fallen back, as we can see there, but look who's behind him now. You've got Brendan Henderson, Matty Ray's in front of him, Brendan Henderson, Jake Saddleton, Ruben Phelps. So he's fallen back and linked up with his teammates there.
Agree 100%. Sorry, Carl Diminico. I was just about to say the same. I was seeing it like he was dropping back to be, as you said, Carl, exactly what you called, dropping back, save some fuel, and getting back with his teammates to really save some fuel and put themselves in a great position to go forward at the end.
That's it. I think SRO, if they can make it, and with that information from Noddy as well, that's going to prove crucial, I think. If they can do it, they could pull off a really big upset here if we run green to the end. Up the front, though, Stevie Dubb's just getting a great helping hand from Andrew Dyson as he's being pushed along at a remarkable pace as they're coming up to get past Noddy Tompkins now. He's going to fall down lap number 3 once Stevie Dubb gets past. But they are really pushing at the moment. Going great guns at the front of this field.
Yeah, Daiso is pushing Stevie Dubb to sensational laps at this time, and Daiso will not be ever trying to pass his teammate there. Daiso's now out there to do what he's doing, push Stevie Dubb to fantastic speeds, and I guess the fuel there will be the thing with them. The faster they go, the more fuel they use, so that will be the interesting things.
That is it, and Kai Turner at the moment is holding the fastest lap at 29.420. And so he's blazing along at a great rate of knots.
That's a great lap. That's a really good lap that he set there, and it's nice to see. Really good on Kai.
Good indeed. So As I said, it's going to be fascinating to see what people can do. Like, you theoretically can make it home on one more stop if you can make it to that magical lap of, I think 165.
Yeah, Carl,
Yeah.
I'll just interrupt you there. How the devil does Kai Turner, who's out there racing side by side, manage to type on YouTube that he says 165 fuel window? Now, Kai's typed in like so much during the night when he's out there racing, and he's still typing in. So, yeah, he's trying to get to 165 fuel window.
That is it, and that will be that magic lap. And as I said, they'll have to have done 70 laps out there, and this is crew chief doing the hard work.
I hope Kai realises that teams like I run, we'd have someone listening to YouTube to that and watching. We'd have someone listening to Twitch. We'd have someone else doing something. So one teammate would be listening to somewhere else just so we took all these other teams' information on board.
Well, look, information gathering is crucial, and look, as I said, it's good to see that we're on the same page there as well. The minds are thinking alike with myself and Turner, so we both know what's going on with this race, and if they can get to that 165, if you can get to 166, even better. That's going to give you a little bit of wiggle room. As Lachlan Acquia is really dropping back now, he's shuffling right to the back of the pack as he's caught on the low line. As the SRM cars and Brad Fenley are going around, Josh Walden down there as well. He's sitting towards the back of this pack.
Carl, you might be able to tell me, how does Kyle Turner type when he's driving? I'm having enough trouble hanging on to these beasts.
I think he's got a teammate that does the typing part. So he's busy driving, and he's got a member of the team there. He's giving him a bit of a hand and typing away for him. So being very impressive if he does it all.
I guess I've shown my hand. I've got nothing and no one.
Answering the YouTube channel, it is his uncle. So it's his uncle doing the spotter.
It's his uncle, Spotter Uncle. We love Spotter Uncle.
Yeah. Doing a great job out there, Uncle Turner. So doing a fantastic job out there at the moment, doing very well. As I just heard over the team radio, Lachlan Acquia is coming into pit lane. So him being out in the lead for so long has cost him dearly, because he has to come in now. He's not going to be able to make it to the end from here unless there is a caution. So that is a costly one for Lachlan Acquia, and he's on his lonesome.
Yeah, he is, but that's fine. He will have known that for a little while now. It had already been in his head, so he'll be getting his tyres, he'll be fueling up, and he'll be getting ready to adjust things from maybe a late caution. If not, he's going to run his strategy, and he'll be staying out there if something happens later on his older tyres, give him a few laps, cool down, and go from there. So it's not the end of the world for him.
Adam Ariel and Tristan Koch also coming into pit lane now as well. So I think we're starting to get those green flag stops happening as people are just, they want to get it to that point. They want to get to 165, but there's only so much a car will do. And I think if you've been running out the front using that fuel, it's going to be very hard to do. Watch out for Stevie Dubb, because we know how good at fuel saving he is. He's had Andrew Dyson giving him a bit of a help with the pushing, but he sat back in that pack for a long time. So he is in a crucial spot now. If he can make it around another couple of laps, he's going to be in a fantastic position. But keep an eye on pit lane, because I think we're going to see a whole spat of cars coming down pit lane in a lap or two. We are on lap 164. We're about to go lap 165. It will be 65 laps remaining of the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championships. It is here for the simrigs.com 350 here at Atlanta. And it's about now when we're going to see those green flag stops happening. So hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get rough.
Yeah, it is. This is where it gets really exciting. As I said, these green flag pit stops is great.
And I might say to Mark, jump onto pit lane entry right now, mate, because we're about to see absolute chaos coming down pit lane. Stevie Dubb entering the lane. All of them are coming in. And wait for it. And chaos is about to happen. Very close to contact between Stevie Dubb and Ryan Jones. They just make it in. Lots of locked up brakes. It's very hard to enter a pit lane in these cars. Of course, you're coming in on cold brakes. They do not want to stop when that happens. Stevie Dubb, Ryan Jones, Kai Turner, Norman Clark, Nathan Button, Toby Stent, all in pit lane at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if the viewers at home realise, but what there is there, you've got a concrete entrance to a tarred track. You come off tar with plenty of grip, you hit the concrete, which is cold, and trying to stop. So that's why you see them all locking up. We have
And
so
keep
much
on
trouble.
pit lane, Mark, because we're about to have a whole lot more coming in. And
Oh, there's cars sideways and getting into each other, and other people off the air. Oh,
SRM did not pay off for them again. They came in a bit too close to each other and they've made mistakes, unfortunately, again. I think that was Jake Saddington having to go off-road there, and I reckon that might have caught him a black flag if he's unlucky. He might have just gotten away with that, but that was a lot of chaos there. And look, that was a tricky one. JCW stayed out, though. He's managed to get an extra lap in that car. That's crucial because that gives him a little bit more fuel to the end, and he's doing another lap as well. So
Yeah.
he's been on a mega save, 72 laps into this stint.
yeah, mega safe for JCW. You can see he's now riding as we come up to the pits there. We can see the line. He's going to come in this time. He'll come down here. Here we go into turn 3. The transition will be so important, Carl, as he gets down. He's going to want to be on the brakes at the right time. He doesn't want someone to run into him behind. But
And here we go into pit lane on the brakes, gently, gently, gently. It's like an eggshell underneath that brake. You don't want to crack it, and he does a great job of slowing that car down. Sorry, Brad, we're losing you a bit, so can't hear you a little bit. So Joshua Carroll-Walden does a great job of entering pit lane there, and the most frugal man on track, 73 laps in that stint.
Oh, fabulous. Congratulations to him. That's a great stint. Great stint.
Meanwhile, the leader of this race is now Stevie Dubb once again, and he's got Ryan Jones for company in P2, but between them is Andrew Dyson. This could be the key for Stevie Dubb tonight. This could be the chance for victory, but he has to make it a long way home. He has to make it right to that 65 lap limit. Leading out on front like this, he might be a little bit shy on fuel. This race is not over by a long shot. There's a lot still to come. Matty Ray is the next car. Make that Kai Turner. He's currently sitting in third with Matty Ray, Norman Clark, and a Ruben Phelps. So that's the next little group. A lot of cars are spread out now, though. There's a big split up after those green flag stops.
Yeah, Carl, this is just, it's coming down to the exciting part. I mean, let's be honest, if we had 5 laps to go, and you've got Stevie Dubb leading and Jones second and Dyson in the middle, what do you think Jones is going to do to Dyson? He's going to just let him know that, get out of the way, I'm sick of you pushing your teammate, I'm going to pass you. And he's going to do that with his bumper.
Oh, surely not, Brad. Bit of bump and running in NASCAR. Surely we can't see the likes.
If he doesn't do it, Carl, I think he's got to be banned for at least a week.
No, I reckon Ryan will happily take a P2. He's very comfortable in that position, and I know how much he loves second place.
No way in the world is Ryan not going to have a go, okay? He's too much of a bloke's bloke. He's going to always have a go.
He wants to add to that tally of P2s this season for sure. A little bit further back, it's Norman Clark leading the charge with Matty Ray and Ruben Phelps, Kai Turner, and Darren McKenzie in that group. Darren McKenzie is 2 laps down, unfortunately, though, so he's not really in contention, but he could be key for giving a push at the end.
Yeah, he could be the key. That's absolutely right. Again, SRM, going back to what you were talking about, there's going to be some hard words said between that team afterwards. Some really basic errors getting onto pit road when as a team you should be talking, everything should be going well. I know Rubes won't want to put up with that crap. He's going to expect better from his teammates.
That's it. They work very hard with each other as well, the Mobile Brake Mechanical SRM team. They really do put in a lot of hours in practice, and they've been practicing very hard. That's why we've seen them jumping up higher and higher each race weekend. But tonight has been a bit of a disaster on pit entry and those green flag stops. But it's not easy entering pit lane in a green flag condition on your own, let alone with 4 or 5 cars around you. And that is never, it's never one of those things that is going to be easy, and it's always strife for a bit of disaster, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, Carl, 100%. But as a team, when you've got running 4, 5, 6 cars or whatever, you know the crucial bits here are going to be getting on and off pit road under green, and that's what you should be practicing. These guys don't need to practice how to go fast. They just need to practice how to get on the pit road as a team without wrecking each other.
And need to practice how to go slow. That's my skill set.
Well, you and I can both go slow. That's fine for us. But I'm old enough that I'm allowed to go slow.
I blame the brokenness. But we got some great racing out there still. And look, some really fast cars. But as I said, it's very broken up at the moment. And there are a lot of different packs too. So the pack with Brenton Henderson is catching Kai Turner, though. They're a couple of seconds away. But if this group can form up into a big, strong, about 8-car pack, they will be able to catch those leaders who have got a mighty lead of about 9 seconds at the moment. So these guys really need to start linking up with all of those cars to try and catch up to the leaders, because those 3 cars are starting to spread out a little bit. If they don't start catching up, well, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. And there's nothing more frustrating when you're back, a few things like that, and you're not in the same radio station, so you can't talk. All you want to do is be head to tail. Let's pick up. You know, 0.3 of a second a lap, and then you get someone pulling out thinking, well, I'll just drive beside him and maybe pick up a position. That's the last thing you want at this stage of the race. Just, you've got to work together.
That is it. And people that start side drafting it almost acts as a parachute sometimes, doesn't it, Brad?
Oh, it takes all the speed off. As soon as someone side drafts, absolutely, they go a little bit quicker, but both yous go a little bit slower, if that makes sense to the people listening.
It's like a parasite sitting on you, and it just starts eating away at that speed, and then things just don't go as well as you want them to. So the key here for Brenton Henderson, Lachlan Urquio, Joshua Carroll Walden, and Brad Fenley working together in this pack. They need to link up and catch up to the back of Kai Turner and Darren McKenzie. Start pushing this group along, because the more cars you've got in a pack like this, the faster it's going to go. And, obviously, if you're sitting out there with just a couple of cars, it's only going to go slower and slower. Although Steve Dove's catching up to Noddy Tompkins and Jamie Curvis now with Jai Schultz. So there's a little group of lapped cars here, and if they link up with each other, this lead pack could start spreading their legs a bit.
Yeah, for sure. We're sitting on board at the moment with Daiso, and as a second position car this late in the race, what he's doing is perfect. He's not right up his teammates' rear bumpers, so he's not taking the air off his spoiler, but he's given him enough forward bite and speed by being close enough for the aero to work for both cars. It's really perfect thing from Dyson. Good on him. Stevie Dubb will be loving it.
Tell you what, though, the man I'm actually going to put a cent on is Ryan Jones here. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, sitting third in this group. He's going to be saving a little bit of fuel here, and that could be crucial, because Stevie Dubb is going to be marginal. He's going to be touch and go on fuel. He could even be just start spluttering as he gets to the line here, as he's been leading this charge constantly. We know they can only do about 63 laps when they're leading like this, 64 maybe at the most, and he had to make it 65 odd laps. So it's going to be very tricky for him to make it about 65, 66 laps since he pitted if he's leading this charge, and it could be problematic for him. But he can't swap it back behind Andrew Dyson, because Dyson's got so much damage on his nose.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to bring up. You'd say, well, Daiso could lead and Stevie Dubb could save the fuel, but Daiso's car's half wrecked. It's just the ability of the driver making it go as fast as he can. Jonesy is in the perfect position. With 5 laps to go, he's got to tap Daiso and turn him a little bit, and then he's got 3 laps to work on the lead on Stevie Dubb. So I reckon at the moment, like you said, I think you've made a good bet for your half a cent on Jonesy at this time. Again, caution comes out, cat amongst the pigeons, who knows?
Yeah, if that caution flag flies, then it is game on for a lot of drivers, although we only have 9 cars on the lead lap. That is Stevie Dubb up in the lead, Ryan Jones in second, Norman Clark in third, Matty Ray, Ruben Phelps, Kai Turner, Lachlan Urquio, Joshua Carroll Walden, and Brenton Henderson. That's our 9 cars on the lead lap. Currently, Nathan Button is in the lucky dog position. So if that caution flag does fly, he'll be able to get that lap back.
Yep, Carl, if they could say to me, if this was 5 laps to go, where do you want to be? I want to be in Ryan Jones's car. Truly, he's perfectly placed at the moment.
Yeah, but would you want Ryan Jones in that car with you? That's the question.
I would not get in the car with Ryan Jones, but that's another thing.
No, that's a wise decision indeed. Look, we're on for a grandstand finish here tonight. I think this is going to be a very tricky final run. It might look easy on paper, but on reality, It's going to be a tricky one to make it to the end here for the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championship. It is the Weekend Warriors here on Checkered Flag e-streaming. Of course, we are at the simrigs.com. Star Wars 350 here. As, Stevie Dub gets a bit loose. Bit of too much of a push there from Dyson and just kicks the back end out of Stevie Dub's car. That was almost disaster then. And look at Ryan Jones. He just lifts off. He doesn't take advantage. He just keeps sitting there in third position.
Yeah, no, he does not. Ryan Jones does not want to be in between, like right behind Stevie Dub at the moment, because the last bloke he wants behind him is Dyso. Let's be truthful. Dyso knows how to be a teammate. Dyso knows how to drive. So he's just going to sit there. They can do what they want. Hopefully they wreck, great. But if not, he's just going to sit there.
It could have been the chance for that second pack to catch up, but they're still about 10 seconds off the lead. They really need something to slow these cars down because they're not gaining on this group of cars. They're just sort of in a sort of holding pattern at the moment. And actually, they're dropping a little bit from this lead pack. And I wonder what's happening here. They're all working together by the look of it. This second pack being led by Matty Ray. But I wonder if they were just shuffling their cars around because they've dropped a good couple of temps as we're watching the lead. But I'd rather be just looking at the P3 at the moment with Matty Ray.
Yeah, Carl, like, and I'm not knocking anybody. That's like I was speaking about. That's the difference between knowledgeable about when to back off, when not to, and so forth. That's what's happening here. You see Ryan Jones making no effort to try and pass these guys. I've been watching Norman because Norman's a friend of mine, and where he's positioned, and he's dropping back, like you said. So he's in third or fourth place and dropping back. So whatever they're doing, they're not doing it right. They need to get more of a teamwork going on between drivers who aren't teammates.
Yeah, I wonder if they lost that little bit of time because I saw Norman was leading the charge for a fair few laps, and I wonder if he's just shuffled back just to save a little bit of fuel. But that's broken that pack up a little bit, and they're just starting to struggle. So yeah, it's really changing things up there as we're still watching the leaders. But if we could jump back to P3.
Yeah, I see that. Yep. I see that, Carl, exactly what you're saying. Matty Raymond and Ruben Phelps' teammates there have now got in front of Norman. So they're running side by side there. We've got Norman Clark and somebody running side by side, and we're just slowing the whole group down.
Yeah, Kai Turner there, just running
You're right,
side
Kai.
by side.
Yep.
So, yeah, if we could jump back to P3, P4.
Yoda, can we go back to... There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
This is what we talk about. We got cars too wide. This is not the fast way around the track.
Although, this is leading for Lachlan Oakby to catch this pack now. So there's a big group of cars that are catching up to this group. So if all these cars can link up, they might be able to get a bit more speed running. But they need to link up and need to work together to catch these leaders because there's now an 11-second gap to the lead of the race. So...
Yep. Sorry, Carl. Yeah, you're 100% right. The city I was looking, it was 9, now it's 11. So what they're doing out there is not the right thing. So these guys have just got to try and get nose to tail. You don't need to touch the car up front. You just need to stay in line, follow his boot print, and pick up, whatever you pick up each lap and get there to shoot out those last 5 or 10 laps.
If we jump up into P3, Mark, because that's where the action's really going at the moment. And look, it's really wobbly at the moment. This group is not happy, and they're behind they've sort of linked up with another group of cars who are a lot of laps cars. They're being led by Jane and Curvis. So, this is what they need to do. They really need to run this group together and really need to start speeding up. They're about to get an extra couple of cars on the rear as well. And look, if this group could absolutely link up, they might be able to get the speed to get there. And Jamie's car's relatively clean. That's always good. You want the fastest car leading. But they need to really start working hard because they are falling off from the front 3 cars. And that's Stevie Dub, Andrew Dyson. He may be a lot of laps down, but he is pushing very hard in the middle between himself and Ryan Jones. Stevie Dub and Ryan Jones just pulling out a lead lap after lap after lap. And these guys, well, they're running out of laps, really. There's not much they can do unless they really work hard with each other.
Yeah, what you've got, and quite visible on the screen as we talk. Cars are too far behind each other. You can't sit 1 or 2 car lengths back. You've at least got to be within half a car length of the car in front to pick up the speed. It's crazy how far they're sitting back from each other. You're wasting
Nathan
fuel.
Button, we're going to have a caution. We are going to have a caution. Nathan Button has had a big accident in the background with, I think that might have been Jake Saddington. It was indeed. And this has changed the complexion of the race completely.
Oh, yeah. Have you got a coin? Yeah, yes, Mark just brought up a point in the background that what's going to do is Daiso, because being laps down, is going to be at the rear and Stevie Dubb at the front. So that's going to happen. But unfortunately, Ryan's going to be on the outside. Now, as I've said to you, and the truth is the outside is quicker on worn tyres, but everybody's going to pit and take fuel, so it's not worn tyres. So.
That's it. Did we manage to get the replay for that one, Mark? Okay. So we're going to see a whole spat of cars coming down pit lane, and look, these guys need to get the pedal and to catch up to this lead group as well, because they're all coming in pit lane now. As we see we don't see the replay. We might just come back to live and actually watch this pit stops happening. Here's the replay here. So Nathan Button just goes a little bit high in 3 and 4, and just gets caught up on the wall, and then Jake just makes contact with him, unfortunately, and then Nathan just gets spat out, and then around goes Saddington.
Yeah, that's so easy to happen. It may look like people saying, oh, why did they do that? They didn't do anything. It's just aero. You're up beside the fence, the car behaves differently. You've got a car behind you, the car behaves differently. You've got a car in front of you, that car behaves differently. So, yeah, it's almost like the magnetic attraction.
Yes, indeed. So pit stops have gone underway. Kai Turner and Brenton Henderson have stuck it out there. They are pretty confident to get home on fuel. And I wonder, they have made 4 trips down pit lane. I wonder if they've used up all sets of tyres here. So I wonder if that's why those 2 cars have stuck it out. This has worked out perfectly for Lachlan Urquio, who was sitting in an unenviable position because he could not make it home on fuel. But now this has given him a reprieve in this race and a chance to get back into it. So it's going to be Kai Turner and Brenton Henderson at the front of the field. Ryan Jones has managed to leapfrog Stevie Dubb here. And the alliance of Stevie Dubb and Andrew Dyson has been broken up completely, as Dyson will be shuffled to the back of the line. But there are a lot of lapped cars as well. Toby Stent has had a moment to get some luck back, as he's managed to get back on the lead lap. He got the lucky dog, of course, so he'll be back on the lead lap now, although he has also stayed out, so he's on slightly worn tyres. So we're going to have a mix of cars on older tyres and newer tyres here for the restart, Brad, and that can sometimes bring some fireworks, can't it?
100%, Carl. Of course it can. It's exactly what's going to be going on.
Well, be seated, people. Be on the edge of those seats as well, because we are about to see a bit of a humdinger of a race to the end. It's going to be a 32-lap sprint to the end of this. The Atlanta 350, brought to you by simrigs.com, of course. If you're in the need for some fancy seating for many simulations as well. They don't just do racing, they also do avionics and things like that too. Vast range of equipment that they have, some fantastic options. Head over to simrigs.com and make sure you mention where you came from for that one. And of course, Lucas Oils sponsoring the season. A big thank you to them. Lucas Oils sponsoring the Australian Stock Car Championship, the Weekend Warriors here on Checkered Flag e-streaming. It is Saturday night. It is the big race here tonight at Atlanta. There might be a coronation going on in Britain, but in Australia, we will be crowning a king of Atlanta. Who will it be? We'll find out in 32 laps' time as the pace car peels in. Kai Turner in the lead of the pack. He's coming up to the restart zone. When does he drop it? Of course, be careful on those worn tyres. He's waiting. He goes till the very end to get down. A little bit of a wobble. Car doesn't want to stick on those slightly older tyres. Of course, they're going to be up to temperature nice and quick. People on the cold tyres will need to get them up to temperature. Watch out for the fireworks there. too wide in the background. They are shuffling for position. Remember, they need to try and get into a good spot, but it's Kai Turner in the lead. He has got Ryan Jones right underneath him at the moment. Jones looking to go up high. Jones will be able to run that high line comfortably. Turner's got to hold that low line and keep in a decent position. He's doing it at the moment. Ryan Jones up into the lead with Matty Ray right behind him. And we're going to be squirrely as they come across the quad oval, but it looks like they've made it around this first lap safely.
Yeah, Carl, we may have lost Brad to the swamp. So, but we can see here the SRM boys working hard to try and join up. So Mr. Jones is going to be in a bit of trouble here towards the end of this race, I think.
Absolutely, it's sometimes the worst place to be, leading a race in a plate race in a super speedway situation, because those cars behind can use the slingshot on those final laps. Got 29 laps remaining. Hopefully Brad can find his way out of the Sarlacc pit that is Mark's backyard, and hopefully he'll be safe.
All types of creatures out there, mate. I wouldn't want to venture out there overnight time.
Well, hopefully your pet rancor's being behaved.
They haven't been fed for a while.
That's when they're most dangerous. Of course, it is the Star Wars round, and let us know in the chat your favourite paint job for the night. We've seen a fair few great ones out there, some really nice paint jobs. So if you are out there watching, please let us know what has been your favourite paint job of the night. Ryan Jones, meanwhile, in the lead at the moment, the 11, keeping out front. Stevie Dub trying to get the high line working. And he has managed to link up with Andrew Dyson, importantly. So he has got a teammate behind him. We've seen how well Dyson can push in this race. And are we about to see it again? Look at the run they've got on that high side. Stevie Dub making his way to the front at light speed.
Yeah, definitely is. And Norman Clark's up there. And also, I think it's Toby Stent. And Jones.
Jones, 3 wide. Oh, Jones mistimed that one a little bit. And he's going to plummet down the field. Stevie Dub kept his nerve as he was going plaid there and forced his way through the middle to take the lead of this race with Daiso just behind him. That's broken up the SRM alliance a little bit. It's got Joshua Carroll-Walden back up into P3 as well. Great recovery from JCW. He's been quiet all night. We've barely seen a hide or hair of him.
Yeah, definitely a risky move there by Jones to try and pull that off. Just mistimed it, and you can see what's happened. He's now jumped back down into 4th place.
As Norman Clark works his way to the front of the field, he's got JCW pushing him from behind, of course. Satellite teams, Black Arrows and Natari, and they've linked themselves up pretty well. I'm just looking down the order. Toby Stent sitting in 9th position at the moment. If he can wind his way up there, he'll be in a good spot. Where is Jamie Curvis, I wonder? He's sitting back in that pack. He's just sitting behind Kai Turner. So those cars, if they can link up, they will be in a fantastic position. The SRM alliance has been broken up a little bit, unfortunately. But they've still got time to work it back. They've got to shuffle those cars into position, and they've got 24 laps to do it.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Brad. While you're back, I might leave it to you and Mark for a couple of moments to call this race.
Absolutely, Carl. Just for putting a couple of bantams and tom-toms out the back of Mark, so I had to watch myself there. But back in there, what an exciting finish we've got going at the moment, Mark. 2 wide for the lead. Norman Clark at the moment leading. Teammates up there, teammates laps down helping. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Jones is playing the swaps. He's looking for the fastest lane. That's a bit of a dangerous move. If he mistimes one of those lane changes, he's going to bring the field undone in a big way, and we could see a real surprise for the race win. But we can still see Dyson pushing Stevie Dub back to the lead here. So, and we can see Toby Stent and JCW now side by side. So it's an all-out sprint race here. The gloves are off and the lightsabers are out.
100%, mate. That's it.
No, we've lost you again, Brad. So Stevie Dubb's still sitting on that high line with Dyson and Toby Stent behind him. Some great nose to tail action here. and that high line definitely seems to be working. As now Toby is going to split the two DPR cars up if he can get a good run out of this corner. But Dyson's been able to close it back up again. He's very, very close. And Stevie Dubb drops back down in front of Dyson. It's only going to take a little bit of a rub and we'll see a huge wreck here. But that is NASCAR racing at its best. And we see Stent and Dyson lean on each other through turns 1 and 2.
Some serious paint swapping going on here at the moment. It is getting very real, very quick. 20 laps remaining here tonight. And, well, you've got to say, if we saw the aggression turned up at the early stages of this race, I think it's been turned all the way up to 11 now.
Yeah, I think it's beyond 11. We just seen the Rebels try and take on the Empire there, and the Empire has come out in front.
As it should be. Long live the Empire. Glory to Palpatine. Long live the Emperor. Stevie Dubb back up in front, and Andrew Dyson doing a great job pushing. You've got to wonder, though, is he doing too much? Will we see that car hitting the red line, and could we see it go pop? It's all very close to going around. Stevie Dubb goes once again. They are really pushing hard, but look at the gap they've built over Toby Stent. Yeah,
definitely, and Toby's pretty safe in the championship, so finishing second tonight won't hurt his championship run. But these two are really pushing each other.
Yeah, I agree, but I think these two are going to get split up. People are going to get nose to tail. They're going to catch these two. I don't think this is how it's going to finish.
Meanwhile, they're sort of side drafting and battling it out really hard back there, and this is allowing these leaders to almost break away. They've got about a half-second gap right now, and if they let them break away and they keep squabbling, you know, we could see what we saw before, these two breaking out, because they're working so well together, as you would expect from teammates.
Yeah, Carl, I agree with what you're saying, but already they've caught right on the back of Daiso. It's so easy to catch back up when you've got support, so I don't think, like I said, we're going to see it finished the way it's finishing at the moment.
That's it. They need to. Something needs to start working together, though, just to break up the Dyson-Williams alliance. So, you know, if they can shuffle a car between those two, it will make a lot of people a little bit less anxious. As we see Adam Ariel back up towards the front. He's actually a lap down, so he's trying to keep in that spot just to keep himself in the lucky dog position, just in case a caution comes, as it almost came there as Stevie Dubb was drifting around turn 4 for a moment there. That car was very, very close to being sideways. Oh, it's getting risky out there.
It's getting risky again. I'm going to say, give me Jones's car right at the moment. I'm only going to wait another, 6 laps. And
that is it. It's not long. And Jones, Dyson and Williams working together once more. These three cars linking up. We know how well they work with each other. Meanwhile, we've got 2 wide behind them, and that could start scrubbing off a little bit of pace here. They need to really link up with each other and get themselves in front of Stevie Dubb. Otherwise, you're going to see this DPR car run away with the win. They need to start working together back there. Otherwise, they can lose this trio of cars.
You're fine, mate.
I was going to say, we can see these guys now climbing back up. Adam really needs to... Oh, a little bit... Jones is a little bit crossed
Jonesy, up. Under Daiso.
Try and get up between Stevie Dubb and Daiso. Somebody, you need to start breaking these cars up. Break up the alliance up front. Do not let alliances live, because, you know, rebel alliances are bad things. They can destroy Death Stars. We've lost 2 of them. We don't need to lose a 3rd, as they are now breaking out in front. As Ryan Jones is up there leading at the moment. He's got Toby Stent behind him with Norman Clark there. So now Stevie Dubb's stuck up on the high line. He's got Dyson still behind him, and we know how hard Dyson is pushing. But I reiterate what I said, you know, Dyson's probably got to be a bit careful, because that car must be getting very hot at the moment.
Yeah, and if that engine goes bang, that's going to lock the car up, as we see lap car sticking there. Oh, scary. Joyce Schultz there.
I think we saw the right move from Jonesy about 2 laps to go, and that's what he needs to do at the end with 5 to go. Exactly what he did. He just get down there below Daiso. He's going to push him up. Stevie Dubb's there with no help, and that's what Jonesy wants. Whether it happens or not, I don't know, but that's what he wants.
Bit of a rehearsal, you got to say there. Just making sure that they can make it happen. They've got 11 laps remaining. Very good driving by everybody there. That was a scary moment as that lap car came into view. As we all took a deep breath, and it's going to happen again because we're coming up on another car that's about to go a lap down in a very quick fashion, and that's Nathan Button. So watch it again, and we're all going to take a big deep breath, go ooh, ee-ah, as they come flying past. Button's still got some good pace in that car, but he is running out on his own, and he's going to be swallowed up by these 2 packs of cars when they get up to him.
It's 6:20. It's getting down to it. Like, this is like, I know, 10 laps to go. Of course, it's happening, but it's happening big time. This is fantastic racing by great drivers.
Great job from Nathan Button there. He just waited till he got to the quad oval, just dropped it down, lifted off the gas, let everybody pass. Did not do anything to try and secure himself a bit of a spot there. That was a classy move from him. Scary biscuits when they catch you in certain spots, because you can't always do that on this track. Meanwhile, the front has managed to get away now. Dyson has broken out with Stevie Dubb pushing, and they've got Adam Ariel behind them. These guys behind need to work together if they want to catch up to this lead group. They really need to start working hard, because every time I look at the front, Stevie Dubb has got a nice gap between himself and P2.
Yeah, Carl, I agree. There's still time, though. At the moment, SRM is not going to be working as they're not, obviously, with Jonesy. Jonesy, unfortunately, on his own. He might look for a new teammate next year. I might put my hand up. But he needs someone out there that's dedicated to working with him, and that's not the SRM guys at this time.
No, SRM trying for that high line, but it keeps getting blocked off for them. Adam Ariel being a great help at the moment to DPR. He's giving them a great helping hand. Obviously, they have subscribed to his Only Force site, giving them a little bit of a kickback to help him push out at the moment, and they've got a nice gap behind them. Meanwhile, SRM are trying to link up with free cars, because Lachlan Urquio now is joining up to the back of that group. They got 7 laps to go. We are very quickly coming to the end of this race. Who is going to position themselves in the right place at the right time for this, the Sim Rigs 350?
Yeah, this is the excitement.
Excitement was so much it murdered Brad's internet connection there, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll get Brad back very, very quickly. But Mark, it is absolutely intense stuff at the moment.
Yeah, it definitely is. But what we've seen though is Matty Ray's just been out of as I say that, he's just been pipped. But no, it's changed again. So Matty Ray and Ryan Jones is actually battling for second place, and Matty Ray, being on that high side, has just got that advantage over Ryan Jones, and we can see these guys now. They really need to start working together, because otherwise it's Stevie Dubb's race.
Well, that's it, and they can't really... Oh, sorry, Brad. They can't get a run at the moment, because every time they look like they're getting a run, they can't move down, they can't move up, because DPR and Adam Ariel are blocking the high line, and then Ryan Jones is on the low line. There's nowhere for them to go. They need to make a third line here, and they might have a chance now, as Matty Ray has got side by side with Adam Ariel. They're shuffling him out of the proceedings now, as the 3 SRM cars link up. They've shuffled Ryan Jones back a little bit now. This is their play with 4 laps to go. They've got to start making a move now.
For sure. Yep, sorry, Mark. SRM moving up on the outside, exactly what I said. The fastest side is on the outside. If you can do it as teammates, that's where you're going to pass everybody, on the outside.
They are, and they've broken up. Andrew Dyson's just dropped off a little bit. He's going to try and come back and give Stevie Dubb a big push, but he is falling back very quickly here. 3 laps to go as SRM shuffle their way into the lead of the race. Don't be too surprised if there is a caution here, a late caution, because they are getting very aggressive. Kai Turner's just dropped off the pace a little bit. He's a little bit of contact further back, but we're going to keep our eyes on the front, because that's where the action is happening. 2 and a bit laps remaining. We're going to see that white flag soon. SRM drop down to cover off the inside as a lap car comes up high. It's Darren McKenzie. SRM are doing a good job of defending those lines. They've got cars up there. They need to defend those positions. Ryan Jones is getting a big push from Toby Stent, I believe. Toby Stent's there. He can help Ryan Jones out. Stevie Dubb tries to go for a high line. SRM can't to block him at the moment. That's put Matty Ray in an unenviable position. He's got no one up there to help him at the moment. He's stuck up there. These cars are going to get a big run. 1 and a bit laps remaining. We're not quite on that white flag lap yet, but it's going to come around next time. Brian Jones gets a big run here. Matty Ray has got Phelps behind him, though. Teammates could be crucial right now.
Yeah, they just need to settle down and have another run.
They need to time it to perfection. They need to get it right because there is not much left to go. White flag is out this time around. As they come across the line, they see the white flag. This is it, the race to the checkered flag. Who is going to get victory here? It's going to be Chaos, I think. Matty Ray currently in the lead, keeping it up there. He's slotting it in front of Stevie Dub. Stevie Dub trying to make the run. He's going to have a little bump behind Matty Ray. On the back straight they go. Just half a lap remaining. Matty Ray out there on his own. Stevie Dub's got Dyson behind him. This could be crucial. Dyson gives Stevie Dub a huge
He made a
push
mistake.
here.
He went low. He should never have gone low. The fast line is the outside.
And Chaos behind, and it's Stevie Dub that comes across the line to take victory here tonight. Matty Ray in second place with Brenton Henderson third, and Lachlan Oakwood fourth. Ryan Jones, I think, comes home in P5. A bit of a messy end there as cars were really pushing hard. But as you said, Brad, Matty Ray just made a little mistake there, and Stevie Dub was so keen to pick it up.
Yep, absolutely, Carl. Truly, he made no mistake as a driver. He made the wrong decision, and I've made the same wrong decision, which is what I've learnt by. So, yeah, he needed to stay on the outside in front of Stevie Williams. He needed to try and force Stevie Williams to duck down below him because Stevie would have lost the momentum and so forth. Well, great win to Stevie W, but, yep, just a little error there. Lack of experience on this particular track from Matty Ray just probably cost him the win, but great drive from everybody involved.
And I'd say MVP of the night is probably going to go to Andrew Dyson from Stevie Dub, I would say. Dyso helping his teammate there to victory. His race was over, but he managed to get Stevie Dub up there. So let us run through the finishing order for tonight's race as it starts to shuffle into the correct positions. As I said, just before we're calling that the positions, unfortunately, some penalties and little shuffles around happen on iRacing sometimes. So let's run through the unofficial-ish results. It is Stevie Dub in the 98 DPR car, burning it down, taking victory here tonight at Atlanta for the Sim Rigs 350. The perfect team at one for this race, I am sure. Matty Ray comes home in second position for SRM, with Brenton Henderson making it an SRM 1, 2 and 3 position. Ryan Jones brings it home in fourth position. Toby Stent comes home fifth, with Joshua Carroll Walden in sixth. Norman Clark has a strong night in seventh. Kai Turner in eighth. Adam Ariel makes it inside the top 10 for ninth position. And Lachlan Oakley rounds out our top 10 finishers. As we roll over the page, it's Ruben Phelps in P11 with Brad Fenley in 12th, Tristan Koch in 13th, 14th for Mackenzie, Jai Schultz in 15th with Jamie Nokervis in 16th, 17th for Nathan Button, Noddy Tompkins 18th, 19th for Jake Sannington, Andrew Dyson comes home 20th. Christopher Tomlin in 21st, Luke Crum 22nd, Derek Jacobs in 23rd, Dylan O'Shea 24th, Brett Campbell 25th, Mark Smith 26th, 27th for Ross Cheetham, Peter Gretton 28th, Aidan Schultz did not make the grid. My, oh my, what an end to the race that was. A absolutely fantastic run to the flag there by everybody. And, well, a great night for DPR, but also SRM having a really strong run there at the end.
Yeah, well, for me, Carl, this is a...
Oh, as Brad's just struggling a little bit there. So what we will do is, no further ado, we'll bring up our third place finisher. It is Mr. Brenton Henderson of SRM. Brenton, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here at Atlanta.
Cheers, mate. It's good to... I think it was my first interview here, so, it was a good race, and, thanks, mate.
Absolutely. It's always good to have you up here in the booth. I mean, it's I think we spoke to you recently in... Was it Anne's car?
Oh, yes, sorry,
Yes.
When the Talladega chills.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah, I knew I'd spoken to you recently. Like, you're making a bit of a habit sneaking up here, but luckily tonight you've not got to run off for a dinner occasion, so that's something.
Yeah, that's it.
Congratulations on third place here tonight. Look, SRM, you guys had a really strong finish to the race there, getting a lot of your cars shuffled up into the top 10. And, well, yourself getting a P3 here tonight, that's a fantastic result.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, unfortunately, that last pit stop, I had to pass Brad, I think it was, so I missed the stop. So I was on old tyres, so I was just waiting at the back behind Lockie, and like they were looking like they were going to maybe get those two in the top three, or maybe a winner. But unfortunately, I think something happened to him that just before the start-finish line, and Lockie was behind me, and I was able to get a good run. And I'm happy with P3 and with Matty in P2, so it was a good result for the team.
Oh, absolutely, and I was just going to mention to you as well, you said you missed the pit stop and had to start on those old tyres. Was it a little bit sketchy restarting on the old tyres?
The restart wasn't too bad. About 10 laps in, I was getting really tight. And it was just plowing. Just wanted me to hit the wall, and luckily I didn't hit the wall. So Lockie was behind me for most of it. So I just told him, I'll drop down low and you can go in front of me, because I felt like I was holding him up, and just stayed at the back. And unfortunately, a couple had a few mistakes, and I was able to get into P3, so that was good.
No, absolute stunning result and a great finish here, and a great P3 finish as well. And look, a great looking car as well that you crossed the line in.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, I'm real happy with how the liveries turned out. Like, I had another three that were ready to go, but Russell didn't come, and Noddy was a late addition, so he wasn't able to run one. But yeah, I think they looked really good out there tonight. Yeah.
Absolute great job on the deliveries, mate. Big congratulations for all your hard work on those, because you've managed to put together a fantastic looking group of cars for Mr. Matty Ray.
Yeah, cheers, man. I really enjoyed it. So I think I'll try and make liveries in the future, and see how we go.
Absolutely. I said I have to get in contact with you, swap a few ideas in the old paint box at some stage. But look, congratulations tonight, Brenton. Well done indeed. We'll make Matty Ray do the hard work of the sponsors, but any personal shout-outs you'd like to give tonight?
Personal ones. One to my missus, Amanda. She might be watching. If she is, hello. But also, I did want to mention about the Tourette's Awareness Week. I know Lockie was running that livery. So I just wanted to give that a mention. I'll let Matty do the sponsors. He'll probably do a better job at it than myself.
No worries, Brenton. Look, congratulations on P3. Welcome back to the booth, mate. Hopefully we'll see you back here in the near future.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate it. And again, thank you for putting on the broadcast, guys. It's been really good watching it the last couple of weeks.
Always welcome. Brenton Henderson there for SRM, the man with the paintbrush, the magic paintbrush for SRM. Next up, we're going to jump to the man that pays the bills, the boss of SRM. It is Mr. Matty Ray. Matty, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P2 here tonight at Atlanta.
Hey, boys. How's it going? Yeah, that's all right, eh?
A decent result there for yourself. I mean, it's been a bit of a rough season, but P2 is never a bad place to finish.
Yeah, especially tonight. It was a bit chaotic at times. Like the pack was all over the shop, and the lads were getting a bit antsy towards the end there. I was sort of crying patience. We'll just relax, stay on the top, and it paid off after a bit. So, but yeah, just couldn't quite hold off Stevie Dub. I did try to shut the door on him a bit, but no, he was too good and got around us, and yeah, that was it. That was awesome. We had a really good battle there. It was fun.
Oh, absolutely. We saw that great run to the end, and sort of on that final set of corners, we saw you dropping slightly to the low line. Were you sort of expecting Stevie Dub to try and make a charge underneath you, or were you a bit surprised to see him staying up high?
I was, yeah. I thought he'd just stick the nose under it and maybe run me off the turn to make me have to lift, because that's probably what I'd do on the last lap. No, he hung high, and so by the time I sort of realised and went to cover off the back, he just got me in the tail light a little bit, and it freed it up a touch, and I wasn't going to shut the door on him. We would have both been in the fence. So no, it was really, really good. He drove really, really well, and we just pulled the trigger that little bit too early, I think. So no, it was awesome. It's good to have a good race finish under green for once. Lately there hasn't been many of them, so it's good.
Absolutely. It's something we love to see up here in the booth. And yeah, as you said, pulling the trigger a little bit early maybe, but you had some bullets in the chamber tonight. The SRM boys were doing a great job of running up the front with you.
Yeah, mate, all the boys were stout tonight. They're really getting there. Jake's really coming along too, as you've seen. So yeah, no, it's all clicking together. We're doing well and having fun while we're at it. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. 3 cards inside the top 10 and 4 inside the top 11. So not a bad night for SRM at all. And look, a fantastic job by you all. Congratulations on P2 tonight, Mr. Matty Ray. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love, the shout out to the sponsors, the people, everybody, or your adoring fans, the public.
Well, I'll start with you, blokes, for putting all this on. Like it takes a lot of work behind the scenes, of course, to do all of this and all the webpage stuff and all that. Mark and Carl, Paul, and everyone that puts their bit in, you know. And then the guys who support us, like Johnny Larber, Mobile Broker Mechanical Repairs. He's been helping us out for a while now, a long time. He's a really good bloke. We got Danny Hurley at the Hurley's Made of Auckland Hotel. We got Raymond at Moondog 1956, does t-shirts, graphics, sign writing. He's real good, does hand brush stuff as well. Who else am I forgetting? Oh, we got Murphy's Mitre 10. Lockie's brought them on board this year, and they're being helpful to us. And also a couple of charities. We got the Alopecia Foundation and then the Tourette's Syndrome. Of course, it's Tourette's Awareness Week, I think, still this week too. So get on board, help them out if you can. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Brilliant job. Well done for P2 tonight. Hopefully we'll see you back in the booth in the near future. And I can confirm Mobile Breaker Mechanical, great company. They've kept my car running, so that's impressive feat. You can take that as you will.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Johnny sorted your Focus out, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because I couldn't.
Now, that would be a job.
Exactly.
I would. Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, I didn't want to touch it. That's what I was going to do.
Brave stuff looking at that thing. Cheers, Matty. Have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you back in the booth soon, mate.
Thanks, boys. See ya. Ta.
Matty Ray there for SRM. And finally, tonight, we're going to bring up the Mean Green Machine. It is Mr. Stevie Dubb, the 98, coming home and taking victory here in, well, a commanding form. Stevie Dubb, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on victory here for the Atlanta Simrigs 350.
Yeah, g'day. Yeah, thanks for that. That was awesome. That was intense.
Are you going to be buying Daiso a drink after this one?
Definitely. Yeah, that was all on him. Like, yeah, that was definitely. Yeah, without him, I was nowhere.
Well, you say it's all on him. You did a fantastic job of keeping that car pointing in the right direction on the road. We saw a fair few times where it looked like it was going to be a big accident as it got a little bit loose underhand, but you kept it pointing in the right direction every time, mate.
Yeah, it did get hairy a few times, but I don't know. It was just predictable type of thing when it did happen. So, yeah, it was. But yeah, it can hook you pretty bad sometimes if you get really hooked up.
So tell me, what was going through your head as we got towards that white flag and you saw the SRM train charging your way?
Just look for the gap and go for it, basically.
Well, you absolutely did that. That final corner there, you decided to go high. Matty Ray decided to go low, and you absolutely nailed it. Obviously, you just had that feeling, did you, or were you always going to take the high side?
Well, I was going to go either way. He didn't. Basically, it was it was entirely up to him.
Well, you absolutely did the right call tonight. We saw a little bit before that final caution as well. Yourself, Dyson and Ryan Jones having a fairly healthy lead out front. I've got to ask, were you looking good to make it across the line on fuel, or were you a little bit nervous?
A little bit nervous. Was pretty much borderline, but so was Ryan then at that stage, if that was the case. And but probably could have made it, but if there'd been a green and white checkers, it would have really screwed us.
Well, luckily that did not happen, and all the luck came to the Mean Green Machine tonight, Stevie Dubb. Well done indeed, and fantastic victory for yourself, a popular victory as well amongst our fans, I can say that too. Well done indeed. And before I let you go, look, the thing you need to do, the shout, the love, the fans, the people in general, and of course, those sponsors on your car.
I just thanks the Weekend Warriors for putting on the series, and you and the broadcast crew for doing this all the time. It's really good to watch back. And then simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Ben Max Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, MP Designs, especially Daiso for that push, and the rest of the boys at DPR Racing.
Look, congratulations tonight, Stevie Dub. There's one coronation going on in Britain, but tonight we have crowned a king here in Atlanta. Well done indeed, mate.
Cheers, thanks.
Stevie Dub there for DPR, getting a fantastic win for the green flavour with a bit of help from his teammate, Mr. Daiso. But what a fantastic Star Wars round it has been for the Simrigs 350 here for the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championship.
Yeah, it's been
100%, guys. Sorry, Mark.
No, you're
Yep. Obviously, the force was strong with those two. Like, it was just great to see them work together. The guys, the other drivers out there needed to take on board what was going on with teammates and interrupt a little bit more than they did.
Absolutely. And the Mark, your little final thoughts on this round, mate.
Couldn't have asked for a better finish with the Empire coming out on top. So, no, it's a great race. Great to see the boys put in the time for the paints and everything. So a big shout out to everyone that took their time and to do a paint for tonight's round. So, yeah, next week we move on to next week. So another big race next week, back to a super speedway, Carl, in Daytona for 350 miles.
My, oh my, oh my. Another super speedway, some more plate racing. Daytona. Fantastic track. Always exciting stuff, of course. And with that one, we will be, it's going to be exciting stuff indeed. And, of course, no trucks coming up this week as well. So it's a bit of a light week of work duty for us boys.
Yay!
Yay! Well, I missed it. I got to be honest. I've been away, as we all know, for months, so I'm missing it and I'm loving being back. But yep.
Yeah, it says the boy on holiday always. Yeah, that's it. You know. No, it's been great to have you back in the booth, Brad. Fantastic to call the race with you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you as well to all of the people joining us here tonight. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the like button. It does just help people find the races in the future as well. And of course, you will find the action as well here on Checkered Flag e-streaming for the next round of the Lucas Oil's Australian Stock Car Championship. But I guess for tonight, from myself, Mr. Duff Carl Wilkinson with you, Mr. Brad Allison, One Kenobi, and of course Yoda himself, Mark Johansson. We're going to wish you a good night, and we will see you again next weekend.